No, I really can't complain. Wave, everything is straight. Wave, I'm in it for keepsake. In the field with the cleat lace. Beat flick with the bare face and a slick tongue, that's what she say. She look good, she a big tease when she bite lip with the wink face. Hella bad when she throwing it back. She bring them my way for the team play. For Pete's sake, I'm above average, I padded my stats. I gotta matter what he say. I'm the 2010 young LeBron James off the backboard, type of bad boy. Hold it down for the task force. If I run his fade, then you ask for it. Niggas cross need to laugh more. I keep it 100 on dashboard. The live show needed passport, cause the beat bounced to the caps on. Feel like I live it, fast forward, but I asked for it. Misfit got a quick lit on a crash course from the tattered garment to the tabloid. Fuck how I live it into existence. Might be ahead of myself, but the bank account did drop up a couple figures. But like nobody could fuck with it. I'm a flight risk. I play among the stars in the Hollywood Hill, the space that you couldn't even get in touch with it. Praise faith that I stuck with it. Wave. No, I really can't complain. Everything is straight. I've been on a wave. But everything I say turn into the real thing. I tell her run it up, cause you know it ain't a thing. We made it up the slums, words on the page. Everything is straight. I've been on a wave. But everything I'm saying turn into the real thing. I've been living like I'm faking it. Like I don't show my face as I'm jumping on the stage. Like I'm living in a daydream. Thoughts and imagination. She only want me when she fake. She quick to tell me I'm her favorite. She ain't told no lie, she love it when I catch my cadence. She gone off the deep end, pull up every week, and I hate to let it down, but I'm in a fast life, so they never slowing me down. Heartbreak, dropping like a no sleep out. How you switch up, you always help me down. Wonder why I turn into a colder me now. It could be worse, right? I got where I'm at without no work, black palace. You tell me that it's love, but I'm knowing that it's madness. Swap with me, God, cut us for the same fabric. No, I really can't complain. Everything is straight. I've been on the wave, but everything I say turn into the real thing. Tell them run it up, you know it ain't a thing. We made it out of songs with the words on the page. Everything is straight. I've been on the wave, but everything I'm saying turn into the real thing.
Shout out to the sponsor, Teach and Live.
Guys, listen up. As you get older, the best way to continue to look young, exuberant, and vibrant is to continue to take care of your skin. That's why I'm excited to have Teach Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. You heard me talk about them before, and you're going to continue to hear me talk about them because I believe in their products and the positive impact that they have on every man's life. Teach Hanley makes taking care of your skin so easy. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing that you don't. Every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. Lapeef family, I must admit, skincare wasn't always something I always focused on, but since I started using this system, I've seen improvements in the way my skin looks and feels. And you don't have to take my word for it. They have over 5,000 5-star reviews on their website from satisfied customers from around the world. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer, and a PM moisturizer. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teach Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off retail price, the ability to customize your box, pause or cancel at any time, and free US shipping. And because Teach Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click that first link in the description and you'll get 30% off the first box plus the free gift. Seriously, that's an amazing deal. Even though it's too early, as I often say, it's never too late. Click that link and get started today.
That's right, family. Click that link. It's go time. Welcome to King Talk. What's going on, family? Welcome to King Talk. Let me go ahead and introduce the crew. We got Luis, Shannon Rawls, Humble Dad, Marcus, P. Madden, Sean Antonio, Purple Pill Pod, me, myself, and Lapeef JR. Welcome to King Talk on the Lapeef Network. What's going on, family? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Blessed and highly favored, brother. How you been?
Good. No complaints. No complaints. Well, gentlemen.
What's up?
Well, you guys know why we're here. It's Tuesday. I know it's everybody mute in between. Somebody give some feedback. It's Tuesday. It's King Talk. You know what time it is. Before we get this show started, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the sponsor. I'm about to say crew, but the sponsor, Teach Hanley. Shout out to Teach. Make sure you guys feel the Teach. That link is in the description. 30% off along with a free gift. Also, make sure you hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel while you at it. Shout out to all the Green Gang. If you want to become part of the Green Gang, that link is pinned to the top of the chat. But we're going to go ahead and get this show started. So I've been in the YouTube streets looking around, and I came across a debate that was happening on Fresh and Fit. So shout out to that debate, because it was I kind of skipped around and then watched it in its entirety, but it was some things that I was interested in the different perspectives on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of these clips and we're going to talk about it. You guys ready? All right, let's go ahead and do it. So the first one that came up was men shouldn't sleep around. Let me go ahead and play this clip.
The consequences are much worse than any of the other sedations.
You're talking about sleeping around with a lot of women.
I mean, the consequences are much worse, obviously, because you're advocating for getting a vasectomy, because you could have a kid with this girl. Right. It's way more expensive. It's a bigger time suck. You're going to be drinking. You're going to be in environments that aren't going to be uplifting you whatsoever. You're in clubs all the time. You're around women that you don't really like. You get angry because you have to deal with, like, Myron always jokes about how he's going bald doing the show all the time because these women will suck away your soul. And really, what's the outcome of it? A nut? Is that really, like, how many times did you go and fuck a girl and you're like, that was really worth the last 2 weeks of my time of texting back and forth, taking her out on dates, spending all this money, getting dressed, listening to her stupid conversation about astrology? Like, is that really something worth advocating for? How is that a better sedation than weed, than porn, than video games?
But you guys pay attention to that word sedation. It comes up a lot in this interview.
I'm the wrong person to ask. I love women. I love fucking hanging out with them. I don't have the same opinion or whatever.
I mean, I love alcohol, but I quit. Like, there's a lot of things.
I've never drank before. That's the other thing. I've never tried Coke, by the way. That's the other thing. So I'm with you.
You're missing out, okay?
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, sedations are great. I've done all the sedations. Yeah. I used to watch porn.
But here's the thing. Some people could say the gym is a sedation. The thing is, if you were going to rank the sedations, I would rather say a guy going out there and getting himself in shape, learning how to dress, learning how to talk to women, putting some bass in his voice, and actually going out and socializing with other people, getting over his fear of approaching women is a healthier sedation to me than pornography. That's just if we're going to rank sedations.
Well, and then I was going to say, like, other people are more addicted to
a certain sedation than others are. If that is significant in your life and you're like, hey, you know what, I'm a sex addict, all I'm doing is going out and picking up random hoes all the time, and I've finally got it down to a science, and it becomes a problem, and it's like affecting other aspects of your life, then yeah, I would say that that's a sedation that you need to like find, because it's an escape. I think sedations tend to be escapisms, is what I'm saying.
I think the contradiction that Sneako was pointing out is that, like, you're, by definition, you're removing from the table all the women.
Let me go ahead and define sedation. Sedation is the administering of a seductive drug to produce a state of calm or sleep. The administering of a seductive drug to produce a state of calm or sleep.
And you would want to court for marriage because you're avoiding family creation.
Nobody courts anymore.
Well, when I say court, I mean like you're dating to get like married, right? So you're removing all those girls. So the only ones left are the 304s, necessarily, if you're trying to focus on the grind set, but then also have fun with girls on the side. So then at that point, it seems like you're engaging in women the same way somebody would engage with like weed or whatever. You're not doing it for like
you can date a woman you want to have kids with and not have kids with her. Like eventually have kids.
I mean,
at some point you will have kids.
So then the vasectomy thing doesn't make any sense.
Okay,
and also, it would depend on the age too. Because if you're like,
I think it was hyperbole what he was saying.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I think if like you're both in your early 20s and you're like, I don't think I want to have kids till I'm 35. That's a tough sell for a lot of women.
Unless you date someone who's younger.
Sneako, if there was a male form of birth control like Vasogel or something like that, and instead of saying vasectomy, and I said do this and take this, and it's not a permanent thing, you can always go back off of it.
No, because I think that's what we should be fighting when it comes to red pill and TradCon. That's like it's a similar common enemy that's trying to sedate us in a way. Birth control for women, it messes up their hormones.
You guys still paying attention, right? It's almost over. Good. All right.
It makes them extremely argumentative. They get weird. They get on different cycles. I don't advocate you to take these pills. I tell people all the time not to get the injection. Like, why would you go and listen to these pharmaceutical companies? Why would you let them win and go play into these games and pretty much just to chase dopamine? Then you're becoming a rat for these big companies, for big pharma, when you could just like actually have like that's the point. That's the reason that sex exists, is to have children. Then you're completely removing the purpose of it, and then you're just chasing dopamine.
Can I chime in and just add something here real quick? So what
moderators?
Yes, moderator.
Plan B.
What's up, moderator?
Moderators. Two words. Plan B.
You know, here's the thing. I will. While I agree with you now today at 45.
All right, I didn't realize that clip was that long, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there. But men shouldn't sleep around. Let's go ahead and talk about it. I know this has some interesting points. Want to get you guys points of view. I'm gonna start with you first, Purple Pill. I know you've seen the whole thing as an entire. I'm just curious, what's your perspective on what was said?
Well, yeah, I definitely advocate for men not sleeping around too. Like it's damaging just on both sides of it. The biggest thing is that guys shouldn't be chasing women, and women should be saving themselves, because that's going to make men better if they're not just giving it out for free to everybody. If men have to become better men and
did he freeze on y'all then? Okay. I will give it 3 seconds.
My bad. My bad. Did I cut out?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. But yeah, I was trying to say that women need to be keeping their legs closed anyways, because that's just going to make everything better. And then if guys are staying on their purpose and they're not chasing women, that's the best thing for them. The right woman for them is going to walk into their life. I'm sorry if I'm like freezing up really bad, man.
Are you good?
Maybe the Wi-Fi on my laptop's not doing too good.
Okay. I don't know. You're starting to look like an AI now, Purple Pill. Is it really you, or did you program some software? Okay. I'm gonna come back to you. You can go back in and straighten it out. I'm gonna come back to you to finish up the answer. Who else want to speak on this? Because I mean, we got a few clips to get through. If everybody don't want to chime on it, I understand, but I do want to get the people that have something to say about what was said.
I do the sleeping around for boys, young men. I'm not with that. Because they just fucking make mistakes. They end up shooting up the club. Next thing you know, I mean, it starts the cycle that we've been having over and over and over and over again. But I do, on the other hand, that's why I'm on the fence with like a lot of like I rock with Rollo, I rock with Sneako, I rock with Fresh and Fit. I like everybody's point of view. The thing is, I do believe that young men need to date. I do believe that young men need to have experience with women before they get married. That's just my personal opinion. So I'll just leave it at that.
So when you say date, is that including sleeping around?
It might. It absolutely might, but it doesn't necessarily have to. But the nature of women needs to be learned by men very young, so they can be prepared to protect themselves by the time they're in their, let's call it their prime, in their 30s and their 40s. And if they don't have that experience, man, they're gonna get rolled over. later on, because they're going to be falling for, and they're going to be chasing everything, and their dick is going to be making a lot of decisions for them. So it's weird, because it's like, in one hand, I'm saying, yo, man, don't sleep around. Don't be a hoe. Don't be a slut out there just smashing chicks, smashing and dashing. And don't do that. I don't like that. That's a mess. It becomes, you got STDs, you got all kinds of problems. You turn, next thing you know, you're a baby daddy. That's, you're a Pookie in the making, right? Then on the other hand, I'm saying, yo, but you need to be experienced with women. You need to understand how women are, how they act, how they treat men, how they'll treat you. You need to get hurt a few times. You need to get rejected a whole lot more than that. And you need to understand that part of the equation as well. Now, can you do both without having sex? I mean, it just depends. I mean, today in 2023, probably not. So, but I'm an old school dude. So I'm 50 years old. So back in the day, it wasn't about smashing everybody that you was out there getting rejected by or dating. Today, it seems like sex is damn near a handshake between the young people. They fucking before they even know somebody's last name. So my advice is kind of antiquated.
Okay. Sean Antonio.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I can rationalize it in either direction. For myself, I wish I hadn't done as much as I have. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I used to see it as some type of badge of honor, but then at some point you realize it's just something that we do just to, get high fives from each other, from the guys to say I did X, Y, Z. And I do have a lot of regret as it relates to that. So I'm gonna say I'm more so on Shannon's side. You absolutely need to date. You absolutely, and this is for men and women, but speaking for men, you need to date. You need to do whatever it takes to get whatever out of your system, so that when you settle down and you level up, you won't be tempted, because that temptation is a bitch. Even for myself, finally getting to the point in my 40s where I got some stuff out of my system. At some point, you just like, bro, it's time to hang it up in the Raptors. Now, hopefully, young guys can get to that point without having to do all the extra stuff I did. You know what I'm saying? Or make all the mistakes I made. So I say, keep it reasonable, be safe, but don't try to get no crazy numbers. Don't do that.
Okay. E-Man, go ahead. I seen you came off the mic. What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of in the same kind of space as Shan and Sean right now. Given in the sense that, first off, the fellas got to be focused on their job first and foremost, because you run around chasing the chicks, you're chasing these girls, you're going to be running around in circles. You really, truly are. You have to stay focused on your purpose, like bar none. You have to be focused on your purpose. Women will always come your direction if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you're taking care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually. And another thing is too, what people don't talk about as often is like the spiritual aspect of this. People don't talk about the soul ties that you create, screwing everybody under the sun. People don't talk about that with a man when he ejaculates and when he nuts. That is really his life. That is the seed of life right there. That is coming out of your body. Like, that is something that, ages you, that people don't realize. Like, spiritually, it ages you. And that is what keeps you youthful and young, is that spark or that seed of life going up your kundalini and up to your brain and all that kind of stuff. So that's a different deal. That's more on a spiritual side, but it keeps you young, it keeps you youthful, and women can drain you. They can literally drain you physically, emotionally, mentally, all the above, So I'm one of those guys, stay focused. But you have to understand and know women. So you got to be in the game too. So it's a catch-22, but you have to understand women in order to get the one that you want, but you don't need to fuck them all. You really don't have to. There's some bodies I wish I could take back because it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth my time. It wasn't worth my energy. It wasn't worth the money. It just wasn't worth it at all. So there's some I wish I could take back, but at the same time, the experiences are necessary. So what not to waste your time on. So at the end of the day, young king, stay focused and work on yourself, but learn these women too. Learn them and understand them and see how, you have to understand a woman's nature in order to get it. Because if you just work and don't understand women, then they're gonna run it up on your ass when you get your money right. They're gonna run game on you. They're gonna run right past you. You're not even gonna know what's going on. You're gonna have your head all crazy, your nose wide open, all that stuff. So it's a catch-22, but stay focused, fellas. That's what I got.
Hey, man, I got a follow-up question. Hypothetically, let's say you ran into a 27-year-old virgin. Did you feel as though you got it tested before you married?
Oh, that's a good one, JR. That's a good one. 27-year-old virgin. I'm assuming that we've been dating for quite some time, and she's somebody that I find very, very special and all that. Is that where we?
4 to 6
the
months.
assumption.
4 to
4
6
to 6 months.
Yeah.
Serious.
I mean, for
Ooh.
you dating. I mean, so I'm just asking, do you got it tested? So if like the younger you, if you guys are saying that you need to date, I'm just wondering if that means that you have to have sex with them too, or if you were at your younger age and you guys didn't have sex, would you be okay with marrying them at an early age without testing it?
If she's a true virgin, for me now, I'm past all that, man. I ain't worried about all that right now. For me personally, but when I was younger, and she was maybe 22, 23, still a virgin and all that, that's something I would look at very seriously. That's something
No,
I
you was cracking that.
would look at.
You was cracking that open. You was cracking that egg open. I don't want to hear all that. 22, 23-year-old virgin 10 years ago. You was cracking that open.
Shorty got don't get.
I mean.
What if she's a skunk, bro? What if she got the skunk puss, bro? She got
it can't be a skunk if ain't nobody been up in it, man. It ain't. Come on now. You gotta teach. That's when you gotta put her on game. That's when you gotta put her on game. That's when you gotta coach her up, son. You gotta get your whistle on. Coach her up. You know what I'm saying? Give her some pointers, moves, move the hips up, do this, do that. I mean, come on. We got to pour into our women, fellas. We got to pour into them. We got to teach them what we want done and what we need done, what we like. So you're supposed to be leading her. She wants to please you, and you're the only man that she's been with, and the only man she wants to please and take care of and do things your way and how you like it. I mean, come on, man. That ain't a bad gig.
Bro, but you only know that if you at least play stink finger with her or something, bro. You got it.
I mean, you gonna do that. No, pause. You gonna do that. That's gonna happen. That's part of the dating. That's part of the y'all gonna fool around. Y'all gonna do some things, but y'all might not do the ultimate thing, that keeps her sacred or precious or pure.
You're gonna break that hymen.
All right. I kind of want to switch up a little bit. I know Humble Dad's gonna have a different take on this, and then Marcus, I'm gonna come to you. I know you are one of the younger men on the panel. Definitely get your thoughts. I'm supposed to have somebody else that's 22. It's gonna pop up here in a second, so I would love to get his perspective on some of these conversations as well. But go ahead on with that. What are your thoughts about it? Men shouldn't sleep around. You saw the context of the video. What are your thoughts, sir? Hoping you surprise us.
Hoping you listen, man. Y'all just got some really bad advice for some grown men. We're trying to teach young men to be like, hey, listen, I regret that I did it, but you should do what I did. Like, that's insane. Okay. No, men should not sleep around. Like you're creating the environment that you're saying that you don't like to be a part of. Right? You don't want a woman that has a lot of bodies, but it's okay for you to have a decent amount of bodies. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And at the same time, if a dude is sleeping around, then he's not really on his purpose in the sense of building himself up to be a man of integrity, a man of character, good character. And so you're talking about dating. The reason why we're in the predicament that we are in is because y'all dating. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why the culture is what it is, especially in the Black community, is that, and even in others, if I look at other podcasts, it's the same situation in other cultures, that men are saying, you know what, I gotta try before I buy it. Like, what? It's not a car. You know what I'm saying? It's the person, not a house. Like, sex is a sacred thing, but you're saying that she should share her. You all should be sacred together, but before marriage. You know what I'm saying? that's crazy. So no, men should not sleep around if we're saying that we don't want our women to sleep around. That's who you sleeping with. And if she's a 27-year-old virgin, then you should want her to remain that way. That means that y'all really don't understand sex, that you can teach a woman how to have sex when you marry. It's not, I don't understand how y'all value sex over other things that are going to be brought to be put in the marriage and things of that nature. So that's just my take.
All right.
Is it me, or does Humble Dad seem like he's committed to misunderstanding us?
I think he is.
I was just about to go there, Shan.
What did I misunderstand?
Like he's intentionally saying, I'm gonna just fuck up everything that they just said and say what I want them to have said.
What did I say that was not right?
Who up here said that men should sleep around? Which one of us that went before you said men should sleep around and have as much sex as possible?
You didn't say much sex is possible. You didn't say much sex is possible. But what you said was,
who said they should sleep around? That's what you said.
The three people that went before me. The only one that said no was Sergio.
So by default, you're saying that I said that men should sleep around.
Yes,
you're saying that Sean Antonio said that men should sleep around, and you're saying B. Madden said that men should sleep around.
Yes, you said
that's what you heard.
The specific word that you said that you was torn. You said I'm conflicted. It's a catch-22. When somebody says it's a catch-22,
I literally spoke about my regret.
I said it was a catch-22. You can make the argument for either way.
Exactly. So that means that you would be promoting sleeping around. That's exactly what that means.
But define sleeping around. What do you call sleeping around? 1 partner, 10 partners? What do you call?
What do you confine it as? Let's go with your definition.
For me, so mine is going to be excessive because I was excessive with mine. So I'm just saying. So
what's excessive? I don't know that.
You just made a silly statement. So I'm asking you.
I didn't make a silly statement.
Oh, sir, but you did.
No, I didn't. Just because you say it don't mean that's what I'm doing. Like, so watch this, right? So when it comes to trying to raise boys and men, we want them to value women. Is that true or false?
That's true.
So
that's true.
So if we want men to value women, then why would we want that to be a prerequisite when we know the value in a woman is her womb? When we know that sex.
What is that? Define that. You said, what is that? What is the prerequisite?
Sex.
Oh yeah, I didn't say that. So he must be talking about somebody else.
No, y'all, you did say that. You said if it.
No, I did not. Humble Dad. Okay. No, I did not.
You said that he said. So, do you think that you should? Well, when you're dating, are you going to be having sex? You said, well, if it happens, it happens.
So
if it happens, it happens. Doesn't mean sleeping around.
So you're
that's
saying
not
that,
sleeping around. That's not excessive.
So you said inherent
dating somebody.
You're saying inherent to having sex with somebody is devaluing them or not valuing them just because I have sex with someone I don't value them. Because that's kind of what you're alluding to, which doesn't make sense.
I'm saying that if you're sleeping with a woman just to have sex with her, you don't have no intent.
So now you kind of changed it. Just to have sex with her.
You just changed that shit.
What did I change?
You just said just to have sex with her. Nobody said just to have sex with her.
Okay, listen to what I'm saying.
Let me ask you a personal question. Did you have sex with your wife before you married?
Let me answer the first question.
Okay.
Right? Let me answer the first question. I know you're triggered because you know you.
Oh, I'm not triggered. I just
now listen to what I'm saying to you, right?
Okay. So let's do it.
I heard you the first 3 times.
Yeah.
Because the first statement was like sleeping around, right? That's what you said, and you said that excessive, but you didn't number it. You didn't say, okay, well, I'm talking about 4 or 5 women. I'm talking about 20. You didn't say that, right? You didn't give that ramification. And so what I said was that a man should not be sleeping around, okay? Because you are devaluing yourself and the woman, right?
And
the reason why I say that,
define sleeping around so that we can frame the conversation properly, so we can understand what you're saying not to do.
Okay,
because that means you'll be assuming what he considers a number.
Is you're having sex with women, multiple women.
You mean period or at the same time? I mean, where you going, Humble Dad? I mean, we got a lot of young fellas on the stream that's listening, so we gotta keep this kind of kind of clear here,
It's
so
very clear.
people have a guideline here.
It's very clear, right? You
So
should
you
not
saying
be having,
period, like not have
sleeping
sex,
around
period.
with multiple women. We can say two. If you don't have doing, I'll be more clear. If you don't have intentions on marrying her, you shouldn't be sleeping with her.
So what if I have intentions on marrying every woman I sleep with?
Is that the truth?
I'm just asking.
Is that the truth though?
I'm just asking because I'm saying what you're saying is ambiguous and it's not.
No, it's not ambiguous. You're being facetious.
So look, real talk. We were all young men at some point, bro. We didn't have intentionality. All this on your purpose and intentionality, bro. We did not have that by and large. So this is a fantasy land statement that you make, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just saying it sounds like mythological. You know what I mean?
No, it's not mythological.
Okay. Well, you had intentionality from the time you were a toddler. I started having sex at 14, bro. I didn't have any intentionality.
What does that mean? We're trying to teach other men. Is that not what we're trying to do?
So look, I run mentoring programs for a living, right? So what I'm telling you is that these young kids start having sex at 11.
What does that mean?
What you're saying will never connect to them. It's not realistic, bro.
That doesn't make any sense.
They don't even understand the word intentionality at that age.
That doesn't make any sense as a mentor.
Oh, okay.
That means you're a bad mentor.
No,
right?
It means you meet them where they are.
Over 20 years.
Where they are, and you walk them to where you want them to go.
I've been a teacher for 20 years.
I kind of want to get some other perspectives in here because I know we're gonna keep and we got to do some more clips. Marcus, you there? I want to get your thoughts about it. You saw the clip. Men shouldn't sleep around. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, men shouldn't sleep around, but at the same time, like, how do you get your experience? You know what I mean? The men that don't sleep around, in a sense, you know what I mean? They really don't got no experience, and they kind of get played on. You know what I mean? And you know, as a young dude, the men that don't really sleep around is like, you know, they kind of consider like, you know, corny or lame or whatever. So it's like, no, you shouldn't do it. You should pursue your purpose, but at the same time, like, you know, young men want girls or whatever, and you know what I mean? How do you get that experience? You know what I mean? If you don't test the waters, you know what I mean? That's all.
Hey, Marcus, quick question. Marcus, quick question. Who considers those guys to be corny?
I mean, the women and the other and their peers. You know what I mean? Their peers. You know what I mean? Like, you know, young guys dealing with a lot of peer pressure.
What type of women think that they're corny?
I mean, the woman that's popping, the woman that they want,
the women that they want, the women that they're attracted to, the women that they're
women on campus and shit.
Right.
Get with, right?
All the women in the dorm.
Yeah, so it's like they, you know what I mean? They got to be super disciplined, and you know what I mean, to be focused and be on a purpose, and that's like a, you know, that's almost like a difficult task for a young guy. So it's good to have, like, you know what I mean, like, I guess like OGs or like older people to like keep them on that path, and then you know, a lot of young dudes don't really got that. So yeah, that's
so. Marcus, look, as I said originally, which I want young men to have experience with women. As I said the first time I spoke, is that I want men to go through getting rejected. I said I want men to understand how women can laugh at him and diss him. As I said, I want guys to be experienced with women so he doesn't get rolled over when he gets into his prime. As I said, right? Can that happen without the sexual component today in 2023? You know, popping at the club, hitting the block, going out to the whatever. Can young men today get the experience of women by and large in the way their nature is without actually fucking them?
I don't know.
Right. Well, I will say this: you got that, but then that's a whole nother side to the women when you do have sex with them, and then now you're getting a whole different, you know, experience of her. You're getting a different version of her. You're getting a more attached version. You get a more jealous version. You get a lot of different variances from that woman when you do have sex with her too. So that's a whole nother
experience, right?
Another experience. Yeah, that's the other side of it as well too, that you wouldn't get from, you know, being her friend or just hanging out or just prospectively dating, but then eventually the interest fizzles out because you're not coming with it. you're not solidifying anything. And a lot of the girls are sitting back and kind of waiting to say, okay, so is he gonna make the move or not? Is he gonna keep it going or not? Oh, he's not. Okay, well, he just my homie. He's just my friend. Hey, bro, how you been? You know how I go, Marcus.
Facts.
How would y'all see that from a daughter's perspective? Would y'all want y'all daughters to date dudes that's just interested in dating and have to have sex with them before they get married?
You keep saying just as if we're saying just.
But we're talking about
You got that word in.
Sean, are you okay? We're talking about
but I'm listening to what you said.
But we're not talking about sex.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like we're saying exclusively.
But is that not what we're talking about? That's exclusive what we're talking about. The subject matter says men shouldn't sleep around. So we're talking about sex. And the statement was, do you think that you can do that without sex? That's what the conversation was.
So the answer would be no. I would not want my daughter being treated as a fucking cum bucket. No, I wouldn't want that. Humble dad.
So then why would we want our sons to be dudes that treat women as a cum bucket?
Who said that? There you go again. It's almost like you're not listening.
Nobody literally said that. Like nobody.
I think it always goes back to just chasing. Like I always talk about this because it's just when a guy is in his frame, and then like even when I was 18, 19, like I was trying to make enough money as I can to like get started on my life and start hustling and make as much. Like I was on my purpose. Like I was trying to make money because I knew money equaled other things in life that I needed to get to. So like once you're doing that, girls start seeing that you're that type of guy that's working 50, 60 hours a week or something. They just want to jump on with you. And they're like, oh man, I see this train going. I want to jump on with him because he's fucking killing it. He's that guy. So there's like a lot, but we got to remember average is fucking lame today. Like most guys are average and average is overweight. Average is short, you know, average is lazy. Average is playing video games all the time. Yeah, okay, sorry on the height. But average is like playing video games all the time, you know? So like when you look at all those things, women don't want that shit no more. They want the guy that's on their shit. So I think those guys, when a girl comes into your life and she's coming and just throwing it on you, and like it's a good girl and stuff, and she's providing value to your life, I don't think that like you're ruining each other in a sense. Like you should try to make that work as a young man and try to make relationships work when you're young, because when you get that experience, that's how you become really accustomed to women. And also something that nobody likes to talk about, and I get judged so much for this, but you need to be friends with women. Back in the day, like thousands of years ago and this stuff, there was communities, especially in churches and stuff. Like I grew up a lot in the church. I was around women all the time. I had tons of women that were my friends, and it was from like 13 to 16. And I was very accustomed to women, to where I had more friends of women throughout high school and after and stuff. And I'm very successful with women because of my friendship with women. I understand them. I was red-pilled before ever reading a book or anything about a woman. Like I just understood them from being around them my whole life. And any guy could have that if they just had a community around them. But we live in the internet today. Like we live in a society where we're all separate. Like we're more disconnected than ever. And that's why we're so messed up.
Before I get to Luis, so I'm listening to you guys and I'm just trying to think a little deeper. I think Humble Dad is saying that the fact that, because it's different when you're coming from a spiritual perspective. It's almost as though like you get it, you're going to save yourself, you're going to try to find the right woman, you're on the right path. So I think he's more so speaking of that. So the fact that if you guys are saying we are willing to have sex, I think he's looking at that as you guys are just absolutely not saying no, or we not going to. You understand what I'm trying to say?
No, JR, you trying to clean up Humble Dad shit.
Yeah.
What's that to clean
yeah,
up?
you trying to save him. You want to clean
up that man some bail.
A life raft for him, JR. Right, throwing a life raft.
I've never needed saving. Like I can stand by myself 100%.
Yeah.
I think what it is.
You're right, Humble, because you're not saving none of them. You're right. You're not saving.
No, what I think that the problem is that you all come from a position of not actually trying to help the young men, as it relates to when it comes to the sex component of what it is that we're talking about, right? It's important for like Purple Pill said, like you can be around women and learn women without having to have sex with them, right? Because one person said, well, I got to learn, like I got to have sex with them because then they cling to me. So then that's a different side of her that I get to experience. Well, a woman is emotional, period. And then you want her to be even more emotional because you've had sex with her, then that's a part of manipulation, right? As opposed to if you would just if the goal was to be married, that's what's missing. That you all are telling guys, be on your purpose, date around, then figure out like who you like. Then if you figure out who you like, get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Sleep around if you can. Like you giving these bad advice, which is already happening. The things that y'all talking about are already happening. The black population is struggling as it relates to being married. And why is because they're just doing they're dating and they're not trying to be in the position of marriage because of how y'all be talking.
So is it because of how we be talking or because of the decisions that they make?
Yes.
So they've heard us talk. They're on here right now instead of out chasing little girls or doing illegal things. They're here right now listening to us.
Oh, Sean, you being petty. You know what he's trying to say. You understand? I understand your point.
How you gonna trip on us, bro?
I hear where you're coming from, Humble, but I think that would be a perfect scenario if the guy's a virgin and the girl's a virgin and they doing all that stuff. I think that's the perfect scenario and whatnot. But if they're not virgins, I mean, you still need to be picky. You still need to date with a purpose and all that. But just because you have sex with somebody doesn't mean you don't value them. You know, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I would typically have sex with somebody that I value because I like you, I care about you. I want to share my physical space with you, and I want to be around you even more. You know, I want to share intimate connection with you as well. So
the problem with that, what you just said, B. Madden, is what if you feel that way with every woman you run into, and then you did that, you didn't felt that way about 15 chicks. Then at that point, that's what Humble Dad is trying to say, dog. You know, if you feel I value every chick I had sex with, it's just that I fucked 40 of them. I valued 40 women, and I was looking to marry 40 women. It just didn't work out with all 40 of them.
That's the question.
At what point do young men start saying, "Wait a minute, I need to look at something different"? Because if I'm fucking everybody that I'm quote unquote valuing, if every woman that I'm dating is potential marry a wife material. But I got a history of 27 chicks that ain't wife material that are all smashed in my wake. Then are young men do they need to recalibrate their value compass?
Well, let's also think about something really quick. Most men aren't sleeping around. You know, like the topic is, you know, men shouldn't.
I wouldn't even go there.
Very true.
Like,
very true. I'm glad you hitting that.
Most guys aren't even sleeping around. So like let's all remember when we're thinking about this.
It's the same few.
The top 10%, you know? Yeah, top 20, top
20%.
Yeah, so if they're all getting it, okay. And then if we think about the women that are sleeping with them that are throwing it around a lot, most of these girls are like cluster B disorder girls. Like they have personality disorders and stuff. They're going to do that because of trauma and stuff that happens to them. Those people just need to all stay over there. You know, like we just kind of categorize them and put them all over there. And the relationship people and the good people, you know, let's just all stay over here. You know, just stay separate. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, everybody's.
Purple pill. They have to have some level. They have to have some level of experience around women to understand which ones are the 304s and which ones are the good girls and which ones are just sophisticated ratchet or whatever and trying to feel it. You got to be around them. You got to.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be around them, but you learn a lot just by not chasing. Like just by not chasing, you weed out a lot of the bullshit because the good woman is going to come into your life and kind of see what you're doing and want to be a part and build what you're building. And like most guys are just so impatient they don't do that. And we all do it. We were all simps at one time. We all have done it. We've all chased. We've all done this, but we've all learned sooner or later. We're like, man, fuck this shit. I'm not doing this no more. Like I'm waiting for the girl to come to me, you know. And like next thing you know, you're 30 or whatever, and like all these women are coming to you because you're more valuable and stuff. That's what we all have to like get to, but quicker. It was easier to get that, years ago. Like my father probably had that swagger at like 25, 26 when he was a DJ at the club while working for the government, like building bases and stuff. But like I didn't have those same opportunities when I was at that age.
But
so it's just like it just depends.
I would contend that most guys will not level up and swag up. Most of them will be average guys. They just will. and they have to figure out what it's going to take to get a woman, you know, whatever that means for them. So I hear what you're saying, and it's valid for certain types of guys, but certain guys don't have the luxury of looking at it like that. They have to be proactive, and it just kind of is what it is. I understand what you're saying, Humble Dad. I just don't think it's the reality of what's going on. I think in a perfect world, what you're saying makes perfect sense. I really do. But I just don't think it's the reality of what's going on, and I don't think it's probable.
I think it's interesting when people say in the perfect world. When every time that we are teaching from a position of what would be most optimal, right? What is most optimal is for you to protect your seed, right? That's most optimal, right? But we say, well, in 2023, well, that's so hard, that's so challenging, as if sex hasn't been around forever, right? It's always an opportunity to get sex in some regard, right? Whether it's paying for it, right? Whether it's going out and getting it on your own. There's ways to do that, right? What I'm saying is, if we are trying to build a community of men, then we have to tell them that, listen, you need to value yourself more than you than this nut that you feel like you got to go get, because that's what sex is. It's just you're trying to go get a nut.
Sex has been around forever, but so has promiscuity as well, right? Just for the record.
And they shamed it too, though.
But I'm saying, but look, if we really look at it, right, that's why they call these things social constructs, because there's accepted levels of truth, accepted levels of behavior that we all say, all right, cool, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, you should do this much of this and that much of that. That's why I'm trying to get you to nail down, what do you define as sleeping around? Like, let's say for me, I left high school with 33 bodies. I'm not bragging, that was just it. Is that too much? Is that too little? What's the over-under on that?
That's excessive.
I'm sorry? Okay.
That's excessive.
It's 10 excessive. Leaving high school.
Yes.
Okay, what if you're a popular football player? What if you're good looking?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. So 10.
I mean, I play, listen, I don't have a lot of bodies, right? So it's not like I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? I was in a fraternity and I went to Stephen F. Austin, right? But I positioned myself differently. I could have also been out here being a hoe after my wife passed away. I had that opportunity. But I was like, that's not going to be a good vibe. It's not going to be a good look to my kids, right? So I thought about that. And so I'm speaking from that particular position. I'm saying that I don't understand why we don't understand that building a family is most important. That's what's most important, especially to any community. Building families is what's most important. And the best way to do that is to be on the mission and the mindset to be married.
My issue with what you're saying is that many of us have been promiscuous and have built families. So it doesn't bear out.
I do want to get Luis in here, and we got a few clips. What's going on, Hank? Okay, the show. I'll come to you first on the next one.
Bro. What's happening? Sorry for my tardiness.
No, you all good. You all good. Go ahead, Luis.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of interesting. A lot. There was a lot of great points that I had to take a moment to kind of write down. But I think the crux of it all, just looking at it in hindsight, 2020. You know, a lot of young men are unfortunately misappropriating their time, their energy, and their focus. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. You know, they are unfortunately sailing their ship in the wrong direction while the wind is blowing. And in that, so they get to a point where they realize that they're heading in the wrong direction. They have to reroute. You know, sleeping around it doesn't really develop any social skills. It doesn't make you more socially calibrated, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're just going around knocking on different doors, right? I think that where you develop that social calibration and that social instinct is by the conversations that you have with women and the conversations that you hold with people, right? You know, understanding women's needs, behaviors, you know, how to lead, how to court, and how to plan dates, how to plan events, how to look things up, how to take the initiative. You know what I'm saying? Everything is on you on how to take the initiative. You set the tone of that relationship. You set the tone of that interaction. You set the tone of where things are going to go, right? And sort of it's very incumbent on you to have that full understanding as a young man, developing into a full-fledged man, that you have to set certain things up front to get a certain type of result. You know, I look at sort of my upbringing a little bit. You know, I was busy. I was doing sports, school. I was busy doing a whole slot of things, right? And sort of there was interactions with women at times, but because you're so inundated with other activities and the things that you got going on with your life, women always come as a byproduct. They're not going out of style. There's a girl turning 18 tomorrow, and the day after that, 25 after, 25 the day after that, and so on and so forth. There's one thing that's not in shortage of is women. There's always going to be women. And sort of, I think that, being overly excited is something that you have to kind of focus to kind of get out of your system. And sort of it's sleeping around that pathway, maybe not, because it doesn't really develop. I don't think most people develop a whole better set of character. I understand that we all grow and shift and take different paths and get to the same end result to what Humble Dad was speaking about, which is family, which is building a community and things of that nature. I don't think everybody's journey is linear. I think everybody's perspective is a little bit different, which is fine. But I think we have to come to the understanding that the building blocks of how we start to structure young men's mind and how they think about relationships and how they think about, how they talk to women in their vicinity, their sisters, their moms, aunt, the co-workers, things like that. Because I mean, we live in such a different time where I see even on social media where you see certain dudes talk to women crazy, where they have this unhinged rage, and sort of a lot of that energy is not properly channeled, which is making them fumble all their opportunities and fumble their blessings. And one thing that I want to kind of bring up, which was kind of brought back to the brother, Marcus, you kind of said this, understanding the sort of the plight of younger men. One thing I want to say is that, stop trying to find your masculinity through your dick. Stop trying to find your masculinity through your dick. Stop trying to fuck your way into manhood. You know what I'm saying? That right there is the problem. You know what I'm saying? You are so much more than your dick. You are so much more than your ability to bust a nut. You know what I'm saying? You have so much greatness in you. A lot of young men have that ability and that greatness in them. It's just that how it's presented to them, they feel that in order to become a man's man, they have to go through this baseball charade of trying to hit one right after the other. And unfortunately, it kind of steers them away from, having the type of opportunities and the type of interactions that they need to kind of self-develop. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that I always learned when I was younger was like, women, develop the man just like the man develops the woman. You learn from each other, you grow from each other, and there's things that you get out of each other. And there's one last thing I want to talk about, and that was that statistic thing that we keep sometimes talking about. I went out for a second. That statistic number, that 20%. 40% of single people, men and women, are all sleeping with each other. The difference is that about the top 10% had their way with all the women, regardless. The top 40% of men and the top 40% of women are all having sex and they're all sleeping with each other. I think it's a misconception that it's only 20%. I think that's a bit skewed. It's a top 40%, men and women, top 40. The only difference is that the top 10 have their way around with all the women. And sort of it's the bottom half of that we don't tend to see or talk about in that light, right? So I think that it's important to kind of look at it from a very macro and micro perspective, that there are a lot of other people in that skew. So I yield there.
You on mute, JR.
Yeah, I just saw the little notification. You guys are watching King Talk. Make sure you hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. A great discussion ahead. Got a few more videos to come through. Let me go ahead and get to this. I got one super chat came through. Michael says solutions. Women keep legs closed. We hear it often, especially in these YouTube streets, about if the women keep their legs closed, then the men won't have nothing to go into, right? So I think it worked both ways, right? I think if everybody doing their own individual job and being responsible for themselves, then the world would be a better place. But unfortunately, everybody like to point the finger. Let's go ahead and comment to our next one. We'll go ahead and play this clip for you guys.
Into in society, and I think even Red Pill hits on this a little bit, is we become a society that has like taken every pleasure and reduced it down to its instantaneous like click button to get it, basically, right? So instead of reading a book, we browse TikTok. Instead of going to the theater and actually watching a movie, we're at home with a movie playing, Subway servers in the background, and like a game going at the same time, right? We have no ability to have attention or focus on anything. We've taken all of our pleasure centers and we've short-circuited them into the most immediate gratifying way possible. Now, that doesn't mean that all of those pleasure centers are necessarily bad. And I think from a religious perspective, when you look at how society is structured, ultimately society is kind of stemming from the structure of mother, father, children. And anything that's done in service of the maintenance of that structure is necessarily a good thing. So when you like ask Sneako, like, well, is it sedation to fuck your wife? Well, no, because sex there, even though that's the same kind of, it's the same act as having sex with a stranger, that's being done in service of unifying and strengthening the bond between father and mother that's ultimately serving as the foundation for all of society. Much the same way that nobody's going to give me props if I go to the park and play with random kids. But if I go to the park and I play with my son, people are like, oh, well, that's a really good thing to do.
Random kids, you might go to jail.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, but you're still like, you're either playing with kids or you're playing with your son, right? But it's important to do with your family because you're doing it in service of that bond of like father-son and building the family. Same thing with sex between a mother and father. Sex between a mother and father is not the same thing as random sex because that's being done in service of fortifying this institution that ultimately all of society is built upon. So I think that's the difference.
And the Red Pill advice is 50 women. So the whole purpose is just to get
I think it's Myron's specific advice.
Okay, but like one of the forefronts of the Red Pill, just get this done. It's like getting a notch on your belt. You're going through the motion specifically. It's like doing reps, and that you're treating a person like you're just getting reps done.
Yeah,
that's not that is dopamine release in its purest form. You're not trying to establish anything. The whole point is to never see her.
Myron, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think Myron's not saying that for dopamine release. He's saying that for experience, so that you don't get used by women. I think one of the whole point.
Well,
of
that's why I'm equating that sex to being a waste of time.
I think if you gain some experience, and you had made the point before, is like, oh, is this going to you're going to fuck this girl and be able to tell if she's a good mom? No, but what you're going to be able to do is see the red flags before they come. You go on a date with a girl you find really attractive and she will not shut up about her ex. That's probably a good red flag. But after you've done this a few times, doesn't have to be 50 times, but after you've done this a few times, you start to see these red flags before they occur, and you're smarter, and you can help your friends out with those things. That's the only reason why I would say that.
A little bit, although I would fight on some of that advice because like you can and like you said something earlier about how the casual dating and shit that you did in your early years probably helped you with dating later on. It sounds like, based on what I hear you say, that's probably true for you, but I think we could both agree.
Guys, haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel.
There are ways that you can do it that wouldn't help you at all, right? If you go onto Tinder, you find a girl, you dinner, fuck her, never talk to her again, you could do that 50 times and arguably have less experience than a guy that's dated one woman for 7 years, right? Just because you've never even learned. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So like fucking 50 women could give you a lot of insight potentially into the female psyche, I guess, if you actually spend any time with them and date them. But if it's literally just one night stand, like I don't know if you really learned anything, right?
Well, see, here's the thing though. The average North American male has had, is it seven sexual partners, six sexual partners? 7 to 9, yeah. So for him to say 50, I think that sort of is going to include that necessary experience, right? And we can debate on how worthy that experience is. I will tell you at 45, I've learned a lot about women from being around women, not necessarily just having sex with them.
I want to address like your point as well, because I hear what you're saying, because a lot of people will.
All right, sedation and sleeping with 50 women. Again, sedation is the administering of a seductive drug to produce a state of calm or sleep. Brother Hink, now you're just tapping in. I want to go ahead and go to you first and get your thoughts about what was said on the video. I know some of the guys said that you do need the experience with women, not necessarily sex, but they do agree with dating in order before you settle down. So what are your thoughts about what was said in the video?
Yeah, half the shit I didn't agree with at all, man. They were just talking. I can't relate to that bullshit they was talking about. Had nothing to do with me. Not what he was talking about. Playing games and jacking all and all that bullshit. I'm a grown fucking man. I ain't got time for that shit. Look, if I want to get to know a woman, I'm gonna get to know her. You know, thank God I got female cousins. I could just sit there and listen and pay attention. They gonna tell you everything you need to know. Just let a woman talk. They run off the goddamn mouth on a regular basis. Just listen to them talk. Now, if you want to know about the physical and all that, then yeah, you know, you being intimate with a woman, you're gonna learn that way. And if you have multiple, you're gonna learn a lot of different women, how different women like it different ways. Not all these women are the same as far as their sexual preference and how they respond and move. But that shit they talking about that video, that's a waste of my damn time.
All right, anybody else want to go ahead and respond to what was said in the video?
Yeah. No, this is something I can't wait. I'm going to Vegas next month to debate. I can't wait for next month. I'm going to debate Rollo and Mike Sartain in Vegas. And like one of the big things I'm gonna hit him on when it comes to this is like, and Michael Sartain's really big about this, where like he teaches guys, you know, to kind of pick up like these model type girls. And I keep saying, like, I teach very heavily, go for 25 and under, even younger if you can, because they're not messed up. You don't have to have 50 bodies when you're messing with girls that aren't 30. If you're messing with 30-year-olds, yeah, you probably do need 50 bodies, because these 30-year-olds got fucking 30 bodies, 40 bodies, and to compete with them and have the same social calibration as them, yeah, you probably do need 50, but stop chasing those stupid ass old hoes and you're okay. But these guys be like, they're so stupid. Like, I think it's so dumb when guys complain about relationship issues. It's like, why are you chasing these old ass bitches? Like, this is your own fault. Like, this is all your own fault. Like, you can literally, if you knew where to go, if you got offline, if you got off the dating apps, maybe you could find like where real women are that are young and beautiful and feminine. But most guys just don't know where they look. They're living online these days. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this one. I really hate the 50 bodies thing.
Yeah, the one thing I don't like about what Destiny does often, and I've noticed this in his various debates over the last 6 months, I've been kind of tracking him, is that he argues a lot of probabilities. I'm sorry, he argues a lot of possibilities and not probabilities. You know, like when he's saying, well, you know, you can date one woman for 7 years and that can give you more experience than dating 50 chicks that you just smashed and dashed on Tinder.
So
well, it's possible, but it's the probability of that is likely not the case, unless because the probability of you just meeting, smashing, and leaving 50 women in a row without any kind of interaction, any kind of conversation, any kind of dealing with her on a day-to-day basis outside of the bedroom is damn near impossible. So I just don't like that he argues possibilities. The other thing is this 50 thing. Like I think Sneako was saying, the red pill, like making it seem like it's a red pill point to smash to fuck 35 women at least before. That's not true. It's not red pill that says you must fuck. There is no such. There's no red pill manual and shit. You know, I get that Rollo considers himself the godfather of the red pill. I get it, but there's no manual that says 35 women before 30 young men. This is the red pill ideology. This is the red pill way. That's bullshit. I don't believe that. I don't think that you need to fuck that many women. But guys, young men do not have to have that much sex before 30 to understand women. I do think that guys need to experience and date and talk to and go out and meet and hang out with and deal with women. Fucking 35 of them, though, just so you can get it. I think that's Myron believes that too. That's where I part ways with some of their ideologies. I rock with most of the other stuff they say, but just that part, like just go out and smash a whole bunch of women so you won't get hurt. You can smash shit. If that's the case, it didn't work for me. So, and I can tell you right now, you can smash a whole lot of women and still get your ass hurt. You could not smash a lot of women and make some great decisions. So that's the part I want to put out there.
So who's Destiny?
The dude with the blue hair.
God damn.
Yes.
He like dicks, man.
Right, bro. They make it sound so familiar.
He's bisexual. He is. He's married. He's married, but him and his wife is in an open relationship. They bring in, they fuck men and women together.
Yeah, it's a little situation there.
So okay. they make it sound so cold and formulaic, man. Like I hated what they were saying. 50, like just go for 50 random. That's terrible advice.
Like it's a ball game.
That's terrible advice. In my humble dad voice, that is terrible advice, bro. That's terrible advice. I don't agree with any of that. I think it's people like that formulate these talking points and it gets proliferated. It just spreads because it's just like those moments online, and there's a bunch of incels that'll believe that shit. Whether they gotta pay to get that 50 or whatever, they'll do it, and it's goofy as hell. And this is where I started to agree with Humble Dad. Like, why can't that number have been 5 instead of 50? Why can't it be 3? Why does it have to be a number? That was a very annoying clip, I must add.
It's definitely hyperbolic so they can get clicks. Like, they make a lot of money for a reason, guys. Like, this is excellent marketing at the end of the day. Like, they're all very good at marketing when you see some of the shit they do, especially like Rollo's tweet. That's all just excellent marketing, guys.
Yeah, serious clickbait there. You're right about that.
All right. Is anybody else?
I would
ahead,
say
Luis.
this. Yeah, I would say this. You know, in an era where a lot of young people live on the internet and are not outside necessarily, you know, engaging and having conversations in person like how we grew up. You know, I drive by the basketball court sometimes and it's like empty compared to like when I was growing up. You had to wait 2 hours to get on that bitch. And if you lost, you're gonna have to wait another hour. Today, those are much more empty.
They in the house.
They on
Xbox.
They're in the house.
Post-pandemic over here.
They're on their laptops. They're on the game console. You know what I'm saying? They're not outside like how we were. Sun up, sun down, even when the lights were out. Right? And sort of, I find it, you know, I find it a little bit disconnecting. It doesn't have a soul to this conversation, because the thing about it is that life is really about people and being in proximity to people and women, and sort of like having these kind of conversations that will influence and shape the minds of young people. It's not shaping them and molding them in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a slippery slope where we're navigating young people. You know what I'm saying? Young people need direction. Young people need guardrails. Not young people need guidance. You know what I'm saying? They need to know how to put on a clean shirt. They need to know how to show up on time. They need to learn not to drink too much or smoke too much. Right? They need to know the basics of life, and then they need to learn how to follow order, especially if they're learning to try to lead other people, to learn from other older men who are mentoring them. And unfortunately, these types of men are sort of mentoring the young minds and molding them, but they're not molding them to be better, I would argue, productive men, masculine men that show up in a particular type of way in society. I know there was this thing that we once said before. It was like an old skit. I forget the comedian's name. He's like, you know, women, if you lost your vagina tomorrow, how would you keep your husband? And sort of, Patrice O'Neal, thank you for that. And sort of the same sentiment at this point in society. If young men, if you lost your dick tomorrow, how would you contribute to society? How would you build this society?
I don't know about that one, Louis.
Okay. I got a question.
Why not? You lost me on. I was with you the whole time, Louise, until that.
For the record, right, Patrice is the god of the manosphere in the red pill community. Patrice is. Most of these talking points come from him, just for the record.
Yeah. That's why I picked up on that one. And like, I'm curious, why? Parlay with me, Shannon, for a second. Why do you feel that way?
Why do I feel what way? Why do I feel that if I lost my dick, how will we contribute to society? Because these hands is what contributes to society.
But do
this
you
brain?
But yes, I agree with that. But do you think that young people are doing that today?
Yes, by
and large. Are they utilizing their hands in their minds in the full capacity? Because we were just talking about at the very beginning that they're focused on fucking.
No, I don't think that they're not. That's the whole thing. That's what we're trying to say. The young men aren't fucking. They're not even, and a lot of them aren't even interested in fucking. They're declining in the sex. They're not having kids. They're not even having sex. Forget the marriage rates. Forget the relationship side. They're not even having sex. What they're doing is they're trying to figure out how to get more crypto. They're out there. They're fucking. They're designing apps. They're creating. They're coming up with renewable energy. We're using our hands and our brain. Men are building the world. We are using our hands and our brains absolutely every day. And these young men are doing that. I mean, that's where the STEM programs comes in. So, but I hear what you're saying. There's who's out there just pay attention to just out there just trying to fuck. There is a subset of men doing that. I get it. But by and large, that's why you lost me because I think of it in the macro sense. So when you said, well, you lost your dick, what we gonna do? I think we'd be all right. I just think we'd be all right. But the question does stand: if women if they lost their vagina, how would they keep their husband? That's a good. I never heard Patrice say that.
The reason why that joke works is because a woman, like a lot of them, are defined by just their vagina, but a guy is really defined by what he can provide for
what he can produce.
What he creates. So that's how like you would kind of judge a guy based off not his dick, because his dick, only 10% of guys would it matter if you cut off their dick, really. Those are the guys
we lose 10% of our population.
It's just, a lot of times, sometimes we're just yelling at the top 10% of guys, and it's like, guys, they're animals. Like I always remember that humans are animals, just like how women are hypergamous, and sometimes they're gonna date across and up social hierarchies. Sometimes those top 10% guys that got it like that are gonna be taking all the girls, man. Like they're like, that's animal nature. And most of us are in the middle. Like most of us are not the exception. Those people are the exception. Let them be the exception. Like, who cares?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So he didn't tell the whole joke. The answers that the women gave in the crowd, they yelled out their mouth, their ass, things like that. And so he said that they classified themselves as a series of holes, like holes, HOLES, instead of saying they would learn how to, do things that men wanted, whatever the case may be. And so they did classify that they did open up their other holes in their body for service. So just to.
But I think. What else would they say if you're talking about a man wants to be pleased sexually, and why would most men stay if a woman is intentionally withholding that from him?
Well, it wouldn't be intentionally. It was saying like if she didn't have it, like what would she do? And I think the good answer that a woman
wouldn't marry her.
Yeah, but a good answer. Yeah, I agree with you. But a good answer that a woman could have said in the crowd is, I would be cooking and cleaning, taking care of the kids, as nurturing as physically possible, being there for him, rubbing his feet, making sure he's coming home happy every day. Like,
and his point was that they don't do that no more. They don't prioritize
that.
Right. That was the point. It wasn't necessarily sexual. What I'm saying, it wasn't sexual.
I understand that. I mean, it sounds good, right? It sounds good when he says it. But if you deep dive it, a dude is not able to have sex with his wife, right? And she does all these other things. Is he going to stay?
He may stay, but he's going to have something in the vagina.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of sexless marriages out there. I think they're up to 20%, over 20%. But let's change it, Humble Dad. Let's talk about somebody that wasn't already married. Let's talk about a guy that's dating intentionally for marriage. If his woman was not going to give him sex, would he marry her? The answer probably would be no. But on the flip side is, if she was only giving him sex and she did nothing else, would he marry her? The answer is equivalent. No. So marriage for men, and that's what a lot of women think. See, a lot of women today think that their pussy is pretty much their commodity. They feel that that's all I gotta bring. That's all I need, and I'm gonna get to the ring.
Beauty and pussy.
Cardi B said she don't cook, she don't clean. So let me show you how she got this ring. And that's not true. And Quavo said, no, that ain't true. I mean, was it Quavo? Yeah. No, Offset said that ain't true.
Offset.
He said, no, that ain't true. And showed a video of her ass cooking and cleaning in the kitchen. And said, I know y'all like that song, but let me show you the reality.
I kind of disagree with that shit.
The truth is, with the way women think that there's pussy is all that they need, they're absolutely losing because of that. And so many other women, older women, is actually teaching younger women that that's all they need, and women are losing by and large.
I was
Yeah,
hey Shan, let me piggyback on that real quick. It's a combination between what you were saying, what Luis was saying about, you know, young folks need guardrails and guidelines and that kind of stuff, because at the end of the day, both sides, men and women, are being marketed promiscuity at a ridiculous rate. You know, when it comes to, you know, TV shows, movies, music videos, internet, all of the above. I mean, all these young ladies are being taught, like you said, all they need to do is bring their pussy. You know, you got that WAP, you can get whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? You can get the rich nigga, you can get this dude, you can get that dude with the money, you can get the top 10% dude, 8-figure nigga, 10-figure nigga, all that. You know, so as long as you're cute enough and you bringing that coochie, you good to go. And that's horrible. You know, but on the flip side, you know, you got guys on pods saying, you know, you need to knock out these 50 bodies real quick so you can detach yourself emotionally from women and detach yourself from the pussy and detach your emotion from everything. That's not good either. That's not good. We're both promoting the same thing, just on opposite sides. And it's not beneficial to anybody. It's not beneficial to the Black community at all, in the sense of family building, in the sense of building, you know, generational wealth and all that type of stuff. It is counterintuitive in every way, shape, or form. You know, but at the same time, we're all victims of a little bit of marketing. We're all victims of a little bit of that culture. The culture is what they call it, you know, but, you know, we have to find a way to get back to family building. We have to get back to, you know, dating with a purpose and being more mindful with our time, with our energy, with our spirit, and with our bodies at the end of the day. We just have to be more mindful, more purposeful, you know, and the guys have to lead that. We have to lead it at the end of the day, because the women aren't.
Yeah,
women
but
aren't
we
going to
also
lead
have
it.
to get rid of the vehicles that are creating these ills too, because you spoke about it from the very beginning.
Marketing.
Oh, the marketing, the
like
TV,
all the, I mean, but that's what's selling all the products. That's what's keeping us
that is,
rich,
but it
wealthy.
doesn't need to be that.
You know.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
You
I
could,
agree with you.
You could air and produce a healthy, vibrant TV show that shows a beautiful Black family with beautiful kids, you know, suburbs going through middle America issues and stuff like that.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
can't.
Like,
no, you can't.
or the new blended family. You know what I'm saying? Where the divorce happened and
we tried it. Blackish.
Hey, look, bro. Can I keep it a buck? I want to keep it a buck, right? Because I don't like what y'all saying. I'm gonna keep it a bean.
Sean gonna hit y'all tell you to get out the matrix.
It's 9 grown men up here, right? Tell me all the things that dudes be saying that these chicks have to do. Tell me one of them. Tell me if they did all those things and they didn't give you sex, would you stay married and or would you stay faithful? Not saying you. Do you think that most guys would? I don't want to put nobody on. You know what I'm saying?
Can you ask it again? Can you ask
No,
it again?
so look, all these goofy things that these podcasts say, oh, she has to do this, she has to be his piece, she has to do that. If she's not busting it open at the end of the night, do you think that most men would A, stay married, and or B, stay faithful?
I think this, Sean. I think that a lot of guys, I mean, for most guys, we're making this trade-off of when we're getting married and we're saying, hey, this is the woman I want to be with. You're trading away all the other potential possibility pussy you could be getting. So in order for that to happen, in your head, she got to be doing all those other things, the scalp massages, the feet rubs, all the other things, the cooking and everything that you want for a lifetime in the partner. But you also got to be busting open too.
So no. Look, A or B. A is she busting it open. B is all the other shit. Which one could you live without?
So
A or
so if she's doing the other stuff, if she's waiting till marriage to bust it open?
No, y'all married. Y'all married.
She ain't busting nothing. She ain't busting nothing.
No.
I would say that you're asking
I'm
something
amazed.
that's not really
So my question
realistic.
is, what's the point? What's the point?
I think you're asking something that's unrealistic. I mean, if a
Yeah, that's
woman
not
is,
realistic. What's the
I
point
mean,
of
literally,
doing
How is
that?
it not realistic? No, I'm saying. So look, this
Why are
thing.
you marrying that
we
person
talking
if
about
you
the
can't have
opposite
any kind of
relationship.
intimacy with that
Bring more
person?
to the
No,
table. You
he's
got
not
to be my
saying
people.
marrying. He's saying married.
Right.
Sean is saying, listen, you guys are saying it's not realistic if men can just up and leave. But men can't just up and leave. See, what Sean is saying is actually happening. It's actually do you know how many men are sleeping in the second bedroom tonight or sleeping on the sofa tonight, but is not running to the divorce court, is not running out the house? Now here's the thing. So Sean is not putting this in getting married. He's saying you're already married.
Yeah, I knew
My
that.
answer, Sean, Sean, would be most if men had the opportunity to just snap their fingers and bounce, they would. I think most men, if not all, if their woman was giving them all the things, taking care of the house, doing all the wonderful other things, but not fucking him, he would leave. That's what I think. But since leaving ain't just that simple, it ain't just like I'm out of here. Since there's children involved, there's property involved. Does he even have the ability to get another woman? Has he fell off? Is he sloppy? There's a whole lot. Most men is just like, no, fuck it, I'll deal with it. And that's why they go out and get the hookers. They go out and they cheat. They go out and they do what they can. They flirt with other women. They
bust that nut real quick and get back
they
to
run
it.
to porn. They run to porn, and they do all of those things because they're not getting that at home. But it's cheaper to keep her, or I'm just not gonna leave because she takes care of this, or I need her money. She works. It's a whole lot of reasons why guys aren't leaving.
And that's 100% a real answer. No fluff. And look, think about it, right? So I know we're talking about it in terms of sex. I know the word sex is demonized, but think about it, right? Let's really talk about it. It's the intimate connection. It's the thing that makes you look forward to coming home. It's the thing that makes you think 10 times before you even think about, going somewhere and doing something you're not supposed to do with another woman. You get disconnected and you build up resentment. And that to me becomes the gateway drug to either you leaving or you going out and cheating. So I know I said the word sex, but I'm talking about the intimate connection. It makes you, it calms us down. It makes us feel like we're one. We look forward to that person's energy. You crave that energy today. So it is vastly important. Fuck them dishes. We can pay somebody to clean the house. But I need you to be connected to me, and I need to be connected to you.
So I was gonna say, like, if it's just sex, like, I think I might be able to live with blowjobs, but the big thing is that, like, the Bible, but the Bible says though, your body is like she's supposed to give you her body, and my body is her body, like that's how it is. So so whatever goes, if I just lose the vagina, the rest of her body's still mine. So that's all I'm saying, and I'm just, I just think that that's the best relationships, though. Where, like, the woman
like
and the man
flip over,
both,
girl.
yeah,
Flip
but if both people understand that, that's the best relationship.
Yeah.
If both people got to understand, it's perfect.
Herb gonna give us some anal loving.
The reason why I said
Three
that,
holes.
that's funny. The reason why I said this, it's a highly hypothetical, is because a woman that's willing to give you her body is definitely going to be willing to cook and clean for you, right? Why it doesn't, like, if she's having sex with you, why would she not cook for you? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a part of her, like, she's emotionally connected to you, so she wants to serve you in that particular way. Is what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that it's probably unlikely for that to be a scenario. If a woman, because I've been watching some of these counseling sessions, I think it may be on Showtime or something, and the issue is not typically, like, if she's not giving sex, she's not giving other things as well. It's not that she's cooking and cleaning and not giving, and then not giving sex. It's not happening in that way. And I've been watching these just to kind of understand what's going on in these other relationships. And then I looked up at one article. It says that 7 reasons why men leave. Now, of course, there's different articles that you read. I just popped up the first one. It was that he doesn't feel appreciated. And the third, it wasn't even on the top. Sex was third. That he did that, or somebody cheated. It didn't say that he wasn't getting any. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the information on that one particular article.
Humble Dad, I'm glad you get
how many people you know gonna openly admit saying I'm not getting no cheeks? How many people you know openly gonna admit that, even to a counselor?
Openly? Not a lot. But I get calls. I mean, I get people book sessions with me to talk about, and they say it in private. I hear it a lot. In open, nah, they ain't like, man, ain't nobody at the gym talking about, man, my wife ain't fucking me this month, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but you know what? Put on 2 extra 45s on the plates. Nah, they not doing that.
I got work some testosterone.
They got extra strength in the gym, though. They got extra strength in the gym, though, hitting them plates.
I don't know, Humble Dad. You said that if a woman is giving you sex and she's willing to serve you in other areas of life, oh, I'm so glad you're getting married in June, Humble Dad, because I think you would get a rude awakening on how a lot of single women over 30 are thinking these days. A lot of women are devaluing their sex and is willing to give that like it's nothing, but they won't make you a sandwich.
Okay.
They won't Humble Dad, I promise you, they won't separate the colors.
I'm not arguing with you on that. I can see that. Shannon, did you see me? Shannon, did you see me? Did you see me concede? I don't typically do that, so I just want you to know I did that.
That time.
Hey, Humble Dad, it's called growth. Like it's called growth.
No, but
hello, motherfucker.
There's like a spot in the middle where like the girl will like I know what you're saying, Humble Dad, because what it is though is like these girls will go, they'll get gained by the wrong guy, like a guy that doesn't have it like that. But like since that guy doesn't have it like that, she feels like she was fooled or something, and then she's not going to do that for those guys. So like she might sleep with a guy on the first night or something like that, but then he's not as cool as she really thought he was. Like it was just a big mistake. And then same with whenever she's married to the guy for 2 or 3 years and he loses his job or he's not that guy anymore, he gains a bunch of weight or something like that. Then she feels like she got gamed. Like she thought he was this winner, like he was this great guy, and he turned into a fucking bum. And so, like, when that shit happens, yeah, she's not going to cook anymore. She's not going to sleep with you anymore. Like, it all makes sense at the end of the day.
Well, she might fuck him, but she ain't vacuuming. She ain't vacuuming his house.
And it's not good sex either. It's not genuine. It's not genuine desire sex either.
So you saying he gonna get the starfish?
Yeah, basically.
God damn.
All right, if you guys are just tuning in, welcome to King Talk. Make sure we get the likes up. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Shout out to all the Green Gang that's in the chat. If you want to become part of Green Gang, make sure you click that link that's pinned to the top of the chat. And also, shout out to the sponsor, Teach Handling Uncomplicated Skincare for Men, 30% off along with a free gift. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and keep combing through. I might got to skip around a little bit because I know time is pushing faster than I thought, and we're spending too much time on it. But the next topic I want to talk about is the alpha male and women wanting a pool boy. Go ahead and play this clip. Damn, which one is it? I think it might be this.
We talk about, and we're going to start from the taxonomy here: elephant, bull seals, tigers, lions,
silverback
gorillas. In those cases, would you admit that there is an alpha male, at least in those? In biology in those cases?
Yes.
Again, it's okay. So we understand that there is something. So here's where the confusion comes. If I'm having my birthday party, I've noticed whenever I have my birthday party, I get more attention from my friends and from women in general because they see other women paying attention to me. In that moment, contextually, I am alpha. When we leave that and we go into a club to watch Calvin Harris, all the girls now stop paying attention to me. They see Calvin Harris go on stage. He is now contextually alpha. That's how I define alpha male. I don't know if you.
Wait, let me catch that. What was the definition there? Like, what is? And I'm not trying to get you in, like, what is a? Give me 16 words. Like in general, like, what is an alpha male? Actually, I'll give you my perspective. This is what I'm confused on, and then you can talk around this. Okay, my confusion is. So earlier we agreed that I think high value men are people in general that can partition resources.
Yeah.
And in the broadest of senses are people that can partition resources. But it feels like when you guys talk about alpha males, there's this weird kind of like double speak happening where alpha males are, Rollo mentions the pool boy a lot. And we look at the pool boy. So the woman wants to fuck the pool boy while she's dating the poor beta bucks guy. But I feel like the beta bucks guy, more often than not, fits the definition of like a high value man or an alpha male. He's somebody that usually commands a lot of resources, partitions them, is relatively successful, displays a level of competency. Whereas the pool boy would be the beta. he is
he's poor.
Yeah, I don't want to say a loser, but if he's like if he's 18, he can be a pool boy. But if he's like a 35-year-old pool boy guy and he's got nothing else going on in life, he's like a loser. But somehow in that situation, it feels like we're calling him like the alpha fucker versus the beta bucker. Like so what is the alpha?
Generally because so the whole pool boy like scenario there, it's usually it's the rich husband who wife's at home just lounging around the pool and she's fucking the pool boy. Okay, I mean every porn movie starts that way, right? But it's primarily because the pool boy represents the peak as far as like alpha fucks is
shout out to everybody that watch porn. He said the pool boys scenario. I don't know nothing about that, but shout out to everybody that watch porn.
Concerned, whereas the husband or the rich guy who has provisioning, protection, and parental investment, he represents long-term security to that woman. Whereas for lack of a better word, the pool boy, right, the guy who's the hot guy that she is aroused by, she still wants to fuck that guy. Although we want to say that, well, the guy who's got all this money, we're going to say, well, relatively speaking, if that guy is rich and he can provide for long-term security, logically he would be the one to choose. But yet we still see her cheating with the pool boy, right? So what happens is you've got alpha fucks and beta bucks, and so usually what happens is, like, would women love to have both of those together? Yes, of course they would. They would like to have the complete package. You'll hear women say that all the time, but this is just me spitballing here, but like right now, I think in particularly because women have entered into the workforce, because they have educations, because they have basically become the men that they wanted to marry, they don't need men anymore. They want men. Who do they want? They want Brock the bartender. They want the pool boy because he represents the hot, fun sex, the short-term, sexual, genetic benefits guy. They don't need it because they can take care of that shit for themselves.
I guess what I'm not understanding, and this is what I don't know if there's a way to reconcile this, is it feels like.
I can't believe I just found out Destiny was bisexual. I don't really watch his content, but it's kind of wild. When I listen to him much differently now.
Yeah, he likes men.
Well, didn't give it away.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious to me. But,
I never paid attention to him. I just thought it was Sonic or something. I don't know.
I missed it. I missed the whole
thing. He said
Sonic.
Like
a masochist.
Let me just define really quickly, because everybody's gonna like lose their shit on this. But like whenever we talk about like alpha, beta, whatever, and if you want to get into sociosexual hierarchies, you can say delta, gamma, whatever. But I only ever use alpha and beta because it just distills these things down to placeholder terms.
Sure.
So I don't think that human males are like silverback gorillas, right, or wolves on the Arctic tundra or something like that. Okay.
Do you understand? The day she got married, the alpha was the guy she married. And
I understand what you're saying, but because you're making this appeal to evolutionary biology, but when we look at alphas in other species, those alphas are never, or very rarely are they the way that we describe alphas in society. When
That's what I'm saying.
Not like
exactly
the silverback.
what I'm saying.
There is no silverback gorilla who's the alpha who like runs into the forest, comes back, fucks a woman, and then leaves, right? These guys are very pro-social. They're leaders for primates, especially. Not just dominance, though. There's a lot of prestige as well. There's a lot of like mutual grooming that goes on with gorillas, right?
Primates, yes.
Primates, yes. So for instance, like being pro-social, grooming other primates are all very important. Because regardless of how strong or alpha you might think a chimpanzee is, 2 or 3 others are going to kill him if he's an asshole. Nobody's going to want to follow that guy. There is no such thing.
Because beta males form coalitions to take down.
So with the chimp, absolutely. With silverback, it's a little different. He's not as pro-social. He doesn't want any other males around at all. But yeah, I do understand what you're saying. I think the difference, like I said before, is we're just using it as a placeholder. Alpha just means more than beta. It doesn't mean anything else.
Okay, sure. And I can accept that, but I would fight you if I was in a fighting mood. That would be a lot different because we're very clearly drawing from the animal kingdom.
Yes.
So when we use those words,
because we're animals, I
understand. But the way that
frame of reference.
Yeah, I understand. But alpha male in the animal kingdom would be like the beta lawyer guy. That would be the alpha male. The guy that is just the pool boy would be the lowest of the low in the animal kingdom. He would probably be excised from the group and he would just die.
In his law firm, he contextually is the alpha male. When the girls have girls' night and go to Thunder from Down Under, he's no longer the alpha male. Contextually, that's going to change.
That's fine, but that context you're talking about, that doesn't exist in the animal kingdom. The alpha is always the alpha. He doesn't change to the alpha depending on the scenario.
Because the silverback gorilla is always the strongest male until he isn't. And that's the reason why it doesn't change. And there's so many other factors that go. And I agree with you. There's so many other factors that go because Homo sapiens are so much more complicated than silverback gorillas. But the thing is, the only reason when we say alpha, it is a placeholder from this point now, and then it changes changes whenever. It's almost holding alpha is like holding a puff of smoke in your hands. It's there for a few minutes and then it goes away. And so it's almost like getting on a hot streak when you're playing basketball.
You know, Destiny, I'm going to make a book suggestion for you real quick because this is a lot. I think we're both drawing from the same place. There's a really great book. It's called Alpha God by Dr. Hector Garcia. I would highly suggest. You would really like that book.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, there might be. Okay. So then I just want to fixate then on this, that when we say alpha beta, and we're talking about like humans, it really has nothing to do with like alpha beta in terms of animal kingdom stuff.
Yeah, it has to do with more or less.
Sure. Okay. That's fine. So it's the same words, but no drawing, because like an alpha for humans, a lot of the times, for instance, we're focused on like dark triad or like antisocial personality traits, right? Like the alpha, like drug dealer.
Because that's the result in the end for coming back, but that's not always the case. The quarterback of the football team can have nothing.
My apologies for the long clips, but I think it gives a lot of great context. Kind of, because every time we talk about alpha, it's like it's the same shit. So I think they just veering off to something else different. But let's go ahead and get a few people to comment on that. What do you guys thoughts about it? Marcus, you've been pretty quiet, brother. This all news to you? Is this something you ever heard of?
Yeah, I heard of the alpha and the beta males. You know, the alpha males tend to get, you know,
oh really?
Or whatever, and the beta males are like, you know, the weaker of the males. So yeah, I'm definitely familiar with it.
Would you consider
I would like to
yourself
be
an
an
alpha?
alpha male rather than a beta male, you know.
Would you consider yourself alpha?
I would consider so, you know. I like to be dominant, you know. I don't want to be, you know, somebody that could be, you know, looked as
really?
Or like stepped on or anything like that. So yeah, I definitely like to be, you know, the alpha rather than the beta.
I didn't ask you what you would like to be. I asked, what are you?
Yeah, well, I told you, I think I'm the alpha, of course, for sure.
Keyword is think. Humble Dad, what are your thoughts about this? I know everybody said they tired of the alpha talk. I've heard conversations. I've heard conversations on the lower side that a lot of people really don't even know how important these labels are when it comes to us as people. And then I heard that a lot of people really don't know what alpha, beta, sigma, gamma, any of those things are. You know,
Delta, Omega, it's 6 of them.
Yeah. So like people only speak about what's been commonly talked about in these spaces. But if you really did a deep dive in, a lot of people would be probably surprised on what category they fall under. And I do think these categories are important because we use categories all over the entire world. It's just a part of our life. But I think some people want to get away from it because they may be triggered or they may not want to fall into a certain category. But it is what it is. I think that if you understand it and if you want to gear towards something else, then you could. But you got to get the understanding, because even though you may not be paying attention to it, the people that you're dating, the people that you are around, they may be paying attention to it. And if they put you in a certain category based off the way you act, then you can't be
You
upset.
are what you are.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about it.
One of the statements we talked about last night on the show was like, what is a leader? And how do you know if you're a good leader? It's kind of like the talking points that we talked about last night. And I guess it alludes to being an alpha to a degree. And I would say that every man is going to probably say that they're an alpha. And most women more than likely are going to say that they're alpha women. And to, like you said, most of them don't even know the terminology. And I think it's crazy that we compare ourselves to animals when we're supposed to be the dominant species, when we are the dominant species, but we compare ourselves to lions and wolves and gorillas. Like we are the ones that have the ability to think for ourselves and be able to build communities and things that we've alluded to, right? So why compare ourselves to a lower class of beings, so to speak? Right. So as it relates to being an alpha, I don't think that it really matters in the grand scheme of things. As long as you have an understanding of who you are, then and move in the way of your, we talk about vision and plan of that nature. If you have a vision and you have a plan, then you move in that way and not be so focused on if you're alpha or you're a beta know what I'm saying? If you're from the Greek life, then I'm a Sigma. You know what I'm saying? And that's the sum of all of them, right? You know what I mean, Shannon? Right? All right. And so I'm not big into it. I'm just playing. But as it relates to being an alpha, I don't think that it matters. I think it's just really a lot of talking points. And so at the end of the day, everybody's going to say that they're alpha. So nobody's going to be listening to say, well, no, I think you are a beta. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my take.
Man, he like did it perfectly, like the way Michael Sartain explained it. You know how it's contextual, and like you got to understand women's emotions flow with the day. So like you need to understand this type of stuff because a woman isn't like us. Like they're not super logical and okay with just kind of being locked down. Like you can definitely make yourself look like a beta cuck or whatever, and then next thing you know, she's gonna be doing some shit. Like guys need to know this stuff. Like, and the reason why they compare it to animal stuff like that is because like it's just all evolutionary biology. Like we're just trying to like understand things better, so we have to use placeholder terms, just like what Rollo was saying. It's just a placeholder term, just so we can like understand things more and like look at context of things better. And like it's not a bad thing. The big problem with this argument they didn't go into, or we didn't talk, or that we didn't see the part in the video. But like there's only, I don't think women cheat. So the thing is, like most women, I think once they're attached, they don't cheat. Like I don't think most women cheat. They only cheat for a couple of reasons. There's the mate swapping strategy. I can't remember what the other one is, but the mate switching strategy is the main one, and that's what I mostly believe in. Rollo believes in the one where she'll sleep with a pool boy just for his genetics, and I don't necessarily believe that. I think that's a very rare case. I think that does happen because we see it all the time, but I think it's rare. And what usually happens is the guy loses his job, or the guy is abusive or something like that, and she's gonna mate swap. She's gonna go and have sex with another guy, and that's gonna be her like little in to get her emotions unattached from the other guy, and maybe not stay with that new guy, but at least get her foot out the door to go to a better person. And I think that women do that for a good reason. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with it whenever it's like actually because she's in a really bad situation.
Okay.
Yeah, I think when we compare ourselves to animals, I mean, it's evolutionarily speaking and biologically speaking and naturally speaking, it's not so much that we're comparing ourselves to a silverback, but we are still animals and we still did evolve from something. So I think that's all it is. But I'm never tired of the alpha. You know, I had a whole show on it. I broke down each one, the alpha, beta, gamma, delta, sigma, and omega personality types. I think what he was explaining when he was saying it's contextual, because you can be alpha at your birthday party, but then as soon as you guys go to the concert, everybody's paying attention to Chris Brown, and then suddenly you're not alpha no more. Who's at my door? Then you can that's true if you take your circle to another circle, but within your own circle, within your own community, within your own household, or the people that you hang around with on a day-to-day basis, where you know you're not necessarily like your rings aren't necessarily like, you know, the rings of the Olympic rings where everybody's crossing over. The alpha is going to be the alpha at all times. And the person with an A-type personality is going to be confident. He's going to be outgoing, and he's going to be a leader, and he's going to be confident regardless of the adversity that they come up against. He's going to want to be the one that takes care of shit, challenge. Even if it's a heavy challenge, he's going to step up to the plate. Typically in a situation when you see somebody take charge of leading something, like maybe they see something wrong, they don't just sit back and just chill. They like, yo, let me see what's going on with this, and let me see if I can fix this or work out something or make things better. That's typically the A-type personality, and it just is what it is. Now there are other ones, and it's unfortunate that we only talk about alpha and beta. It's almost like most people who don't understand the personalities, they think it's just two. Beta. You're either a leader or a follower, and that's it. And that's not necessarily the case. Actually, I shouldn't mean necessarily. It's not the case. There's 6 different personality traits, and women like the varying ones. A lot of women like sigma men, and they like omega men.
No,
they like sigma men. Ain't that right?
He said they play with the alpha males. They marry the sigma males. cuffers.
No, they have a whole lot of fun with them Omega males, though. I know that. All the fun. But no, I'll say this real quick. I agree mostly with Shan was saying. I agree with what Purple was saying as well too. I think there are certain things that are just hardwired. You know, you are who you are. You know, it's not a good or bad thing to be alpha or a sigma male or a beta male. You are who you are. You are, your personality type is your personality type. I think we get too caught up on, "Ooh, I want to be alpha because that's what most people want, so I want to be alpha." It's like, no, if you're not it, you're not him, you're not him. It's okay. It is really okay. You have to know yourself, love yourself, and stay on your purpose is who you are. You know what I'm saying? Stay in your lane. Okay. Everybody can't be the thinker. Everybody can't be the doer. Everybody can't be the muscle. You know, everybody can't be the outgoing extrovert. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to know your lane and stay in. And a lot of times, they were talking about high value men and everything in that conversation as well. A lot of women want the alpha male to be the high value man as well too, but that's not always the case at all. You know, there's a lot of high value men that are more of a sigma mindset, you know what I'm saying, or even a beta mindset as well. And when you're throwing that whole pool boy situation in there and whatnot, a lot of times it's because the woman is married to a man, you know, who has means, who has money, might be a high value type, but there might be some things that's missing in the bedroom. That's why she's messing with that pool boy. Or he's just, you know, he's young, youthful, he's got the swag or whatever that she likes. And she's still right. He got the stamp right. That might be, you know, it might be the thing. And she's like, hey, you know, she might be feeling like she might be looking for a way out too. She might be looking for a moment, or she might feel like risking it all that day. You never know. She might have been fiending over him the past 2 years. You don't know. Women are more calculated than we are when it comes to that type of stuff. And then she's like, well, I'm gonna get half anyway, so you know, I might as well go ahead and get my rocks off. You know, so it just depends. It depends. But I don't think that she wants to be with that pool boy or anything like that. I don't think that's her admiration. I don't think we have to be mindful. Remember, women are hypergamous. They want to align with the male who has the most.
Yes, sir.
Elevate their situation as much as possible. So they may not marry that top alpha male that just had them whipped from day one, or they were fiending over. They ended up marrying this other dude who might be more of a beta or a sigma or whatever, but he's got the means and he's willing to put up with her stuff, and he does whatever she asks him to do or tells him to do. So she just she's like, hey, I can get whatever I want out of him. I'm gonna go with him because I can't have the alpha I really want because he's still out here having fun.
So you talking about Cassie and Diddy?
Yeah. There's always a hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. There's always a hierarchy in everything in life. You know, whether it's in nature, whether it's in society, we always know how to sort ourselves, and we know where we rank among other men. We know how to sort ourselves, especially in times of, you know, we know what each one is good at. We know how to filter ourselves. So I think that this kind of boils down to like hierarchy and where you kind of stand in the social arc. But, you know, in the past, you know, I don't think men were sitting around describing themselves as these different types of personalities. They just knew inherently who was that guy to go to and who was that specific type of guy who was going to lead, who was going to facilitate, and who was that soldier who played his position, you know what I'm saying, and made things happen. I think that when we look at the beta and alpha conversations, you know, it's true what, you know, what Shannon said. You know, we tend to kind of distill it into two things because it seems like a lot of people can't really grasp the other 6 personality types, right? And know how to navigate them and how to really show and depict how those personalities show up and who they are, even in their own circle. They don't know how to differentiate. It's either alpha or beta, right? But they don't know how to look between the lens. You know, the pool boy analogy. I think for me, the pool boy is a homosexual. Let's be honest. I think the pool boy is a homosexual. And I'm gonna explain why. I know that they try to make him seem like he's cool and all this and that, but women want the pool boy because she has the power. She knows that the pool boy is a good time, not a long time. So therefore, she has the power. Yeah. And he wants sex, and she'll dangle that carrot in front of him and then take it away at any given moment to go for the guy that she truly wants. And sort of, it's a power dynamic, right? For me, she gets more satisfaction of knowing that she has the upper hand, the leverage in that dynamic, because ultimately she understands that he's only good for one thing and it's a good time, but she could also walk away because knowing that he will always be there at her beck and call. You know what I'm saying? So I think that explains where the pool boy really lies.
I kind of disagree, man. Like the thing is, like, women, if your girl cheats on you, like she doesn't love you anymore. Like she's falling in love with that other guy. Like I've seen this a lot. I've seen it personally.
It doesn't even have to be in a relationship, neither.
But I'm just saying she's falling in love with that guy that she's having sex with. Like that's all I'm saying. And I've seen it happen multiple times where like you think that like she's just she completely will hate the other guy. Like completely start hating her actual husband or boyfriend, whatever. And like she'll listen to whatever the pool boy says. Like if the pool boy says like, hey, don't kiss your boyfriend for the rest of the week, she'll do exactly what he says. Like these girls, whenever they do those type of things, it's literally because they're falling in love with that other guy.
Bro. Please pardon my ratchet experience, bro. I spent a lot of years being a professional side nigga. You know, I don't know how else to say it. What y'all saying, bro? They just see Shannon and they want to fuck him. Period. It's nothing else. They may see JR on spring break in Miami, and they're gonna bust it open. They don't know his name. They don't want to get to know him at all. They want to fuck him. They go down there on a girl's trip and they decide they like Hank's beard and they want to moisturize that man's beard. Period. Sometimes it ain't no deeper than that, bro. They know different than us.
I completely understand that. Yeah. I'm saying in a relationship, like I'm saying the pool boy example. No, like if she's literally fucking the pool boy, then that's a relationship.
No,
like
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying chicks that are happily married. It sounds crazy, or have boyfriends they really like. They will fuck you. They will have a steady dose of side nigga dick that they have no intention on wifing. And a lot of times the guy will be married too. So I get what you're saying. That absolutely happens. But sometimes they just want to fuck just like us too.
Don't women get emotionally invested from fucking though?
Not if I'm only hitting them up at 3 a.m. every month, once a month.
I mean, but at 3 a.m. don't they get still emotionally invested though? Like women, like they emotional, right?
Bro.
They can. It can develop. It can develop.
Yeah,
taking it down the right
emotional.
way. But
they're rewiring.
They're rewiring. So be mad.
They getting rewired.
You're a Q. I'm an alpha. We got sigmas. We got noops up here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
When them chicks see you, when they see you strolling, bro, and they grab you about that line and you take them back to wherever and you fuck them that night, bro, it ain't no strings attached. It ain't nothing deep. They gonna go fuck one of the other bros probably the next night. It ain't as deep as y'all make it sound, bro.
Well, like a girl who's a hoe, yes.
They just really like me.
If a woman can't care about
it, they like the beard, they like the hair, they like the muscles and shit. You know, they like the things. So,
or they like Omega men in general, and they gonna get tossed up. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true. Because once you like a certain type of dude,
100%.
they end up going with the same.
They will run through
type.
the whole chapter, bro. We've seen it. They will run through the whole chapter.
The football team,
that Omega oil,
the whole line of them.
That one guy
that oil share.
You run through that oil and bro.
Like it'd be that one guy that wife too. It'd be that one guy.
And he's usually a Sigma.
Shan, you gonna be that one guy wife up?
Not the neck roll, Shan.
Dang, so you gonna wipe up? You gonna put a ring on it?
Don't hurt yourself, Shan. Don't hurt yourself. You gotta be professional. Don't hurt yourself, man. You stick to that. You stick to that. This is a shimmy. You stick to that shimmy over there, Shan. The pretty boy. Yeah, do that pretty stuff.
I get
You
them
got
shoulder
that.
rolls on them. Listen. The thing is, like, so I think Lewis, he was saying that no, they didn't use these terms before, Lewis. The terms was actually established in 1969, I think, when the guy wrote that book called The Wolf, because he had studied wolves in the wild. He actually rewrote the book in 1990, saying that the whole thing was trying to debunk it, but I don't think he really wanted to debunk it. He just wanted to sell more books. But the reality is, prior to that, the personalities were still there. So as we move on to our next topic, just think about this. In your crew, everybody got a crew. Everybody got their boys that they party with, that they hang out with. They got their cousins. Maybe they got a brother in that crew. Everybody got a crew. Who makes the decisions as to where y'all going tonight? Who has the flyest cars and you typically let the homie drive his extra car? Who solves most of the problems of the crew? If the police is coming around or some girls is tripping or they got to get in the club, who is making shit happen? Who's the one that always steps up? All right, I'll be right back. Let me go talk to him real quick and I'll let y'all in. I'm gonna get y'all in. Y'all just stay on the side by that back door. I'm gonna get. Who does that? Who's the one that typically takes charge even when leadership isn't even asked for, but he just jumps into that role? That is typically a personality trait of an alpha. Or I don't like to say alpha, but I'd say A-type personality. So just and it's been around forever. You want to go back 300 years? You want to go back fight to conquistadors? Who the fuck was rowing the hardest and saying, who jumped off the boat to go fucking fight in a goddamn war on the beach of Tripoli? That is the person that is typically with the alpha type personality. And everybody
there's always a nigga to make it happen. It was always a make it happen nigga every time.
It's the make it happen dude. It's the make it happen dude. And it's my responsibility to make sure that everybody behind me wins. And for everybody that all the young princes and all the young kings that's watching the show, if you have a crew and you got a guy in your crew who's always taking care of everybody, he typically eats last. He makes sure everybody else is fed. He typically is making sure that everybody's getting in. Everybody got a ticket. Everybody got a seat. Everybody is dressed. That is typically the A-type personality in your crew. He's the leader. He's the outgoing one, and he's very confident in his abilities.
Just so you know, Shannon, alpha starts with an A.
All right, if you guys just tune in, welcome to King Talk. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I got one more. I mean, possibly two if anybody wants to stick around, but I got one more clip I'm gonna get to. And also, too, Shan, just to add on to it, sometimes the alpha ain't really got to speak. Sometimes the alpha is that person that people want to be around. So let's just say you got a cousin, right? And that cousin can say, "Hey, I'm having a barbecue." Everybody's gonna come. Everybody's gonna come, but then you got the other family member that say I'm having a barbecue, and everybody really checking. It's that person that can bring everybody together without even having to say anything. They just gravitate to them. It's just the aura, the energy, is want to be a part of. But let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. See if we got any super chats that might have came through. We got 3 super chats came through. Says the King Investor 999. You just never had a woman like that. If you did, you would have a lot of bodies. Simple math. How can you expect a man and young boys to be high and mighty with the way these women dress nowadays? For real. Enter the Black Dragon 10 says, as a member of Sex Positive, is what that stand for? Community?
Community. Mm-hmm.
Community instead of time with courting, dating, and info. We find those we have sex chemistry with, then build out from there. Most couples is in LS stay. I'm old school, man.
Enter Black. You did not run out of characters. Enter Black Dragon. You had plenty of space to write out them damn letters. Now, if you didn't do it, it's because you can't.
I don't know what's going on. Enter the Dragon. That's excitement over security.
Your brother know how to spell. He's fucking with us on the last post.
Yeah, I know he probably does. And I'm not hip to that. I'm about to ask Marcus, man. What's this? What's going on with these terminologies, man? Y'all just be abbreviating everything.
LS community is lifestyle community.
Told the motherfucker writing cursive. He like, what's that? I ain't wrote it so long though. You ever start writing and just forget? Like, damn, what the fuck is that? I guess I'm just too old, man. I guess some of y'all can't relate. Be mad, you can't relate, right?
Not yet.
Okay, never mind, man. You just I feel like Destiny right now. Sonic. Let's go move on to our next time. I'm just stalling y'all till I try to pull this shit up. The liquor starting to hit in. All this shit starting.
Marcus, you actually got. He asked in the chat: should guys in their 30s focus on younger women? In the 30s, Marcus, you're in your 20s, though, right?
No, I'm in my 30s. In my early 30s.
Your early 30s, Marcus? Oh, okay. I thought you were younger. Okay.
Nah, he got
yeah, that's a valid question, though, right?
Hey, motherfucker, back in the day, I won't say back in the day, but a little while ago, I'd be out with Marcus, and Marcus would bag these young ass chicks or something like that. And he tried to wing man me. I said, these motherfuckers too young, man. I said, I can't relate to him. I'm like, you look young. I say, I look like I'm older, man. It's just not gonna work, man. It's like two different crowds, man. So I said, if I ain't getting to choose, I'm not fucking with that conversation, man, because I already know what time it is.
Sometimes older women, they just be too complicated, though. They just be too
younger women or older women?
The older ones, they be having too much. For me, I be feeling like they be having too much trauma, too much baggage. And they just be too difficult. You know what I mean?
Marcus, like what do you need to have with the younger ones? Like what do you need to have in common with them? Like that's why I don't understand. Like I've always dated younger women. I don't need anything in common with you. I'm working all the time. Like I don't even watch TV with my girl. Like we don't watch no TV shows together. Like we might watch a movie every once in a while. I might take her to the movie or something, but I don't spend time with her. Like we might bullshit or something. But as time goes on, she starts to starts becoming more like me. Like starts like knowing everything that I do and everything I say, and she becomes smarter based off of my conversations I'm having, and she hears me on the phone and stuff. These girls will accumulate to what you're doing, and like if you just have to be with the young women that aren't ruined yet. Like the older women are all ruined in my opinion, not all of them, but a lot of them are. I think that they can get over their trauma too, but once again, rarely. A lot of them aren't going to their therapist, so it just depends. But yeah, dude, like you just need help with defining the good young women, and if you're on your purpose, they'll they'll come to you, bro. Like a lot of the guys just don't know where to go find the girls today.
So
you know what? I think you're right, but I'll say this: like I'm in the age, and I'm probably not kind of close to where Marcus or where Purple's at, but I'm at an age where I can date up or I can date down just as equally, just as easy. I spend more time typically down than up, but there's some mostly like my age, maybe a couple years difference or whatever. And there is certain values and certain upbringings and certain just commonalities that are there that are important that help get you a little closer. When you're having those that pastime that you have with that special person, when you're just chilling and stuff, y'all just kind of get some of the same things, or you have similar life experiences, so you're kind of on the same page. So I think that that makes a difference. But overall, I do agree with what you're saying, Purple. Like when they're younger, they definitely assimilate with what you're doing and getting on your page, especially if you're exuding those type of leadership capabilities and that energy.
I mean, I think we're having a different conversation though, because when I was out with Marcus, he don't understand. As a 53-year-old man at the time when we was out, it just wasn't aligning. I mean, these girls in their 20s, I'm 53, he in his early 30s. It just wasn't aligning. So I still think it's a difference.
It is. Marcus, go ahead. What was that?
I say, don't you feel like they kind of a little bit more like they're a little bit more like difficult, you know what I mean? With difficult just to date.
Hell yeah.
Older or younger?
Old, you talking about older women?
Older.
Yeah, you talking about older.
I mean, yeah, you're dealing with a lot more that comes with them for sure. Other lot of experiences, not so good experiences in their past, clearly because they're single now. So whatever they were doing wasn't working. or the type of dudes they were dealing with wasn't working. They either got tricked, they either got scammed, they either made just bad decisions, overall. So
I mean, they all didn't get tricked and scammed. That's the don't throw that out there.
I said, or they made bad decisions. I said, or they made bad
Man,
decisions.
all these women from Atlanta.
I said they made bad decisions too.
Hey, Marcus, can
poor
I keep it
decision making. Poor
Can I keep it a beam with you, Marcus? I want to keep it a beam, bro. It all depends on you, bro. Whether they're younger or older or whatever. It's all whatever your program is, what you're willing to accept, whatever the case may be. How are you going to run your program? You feel me? What type of guy are you? How confident are you? It's all on you. It's just like, let's just say if you Allen Iverson, I don't, or Kyrie Irving. Kyrie don't give a shit how good the defender is. I'm going to get by you, period. So what are your goals? Are you trying to date? Are you trying to casually have sex? What are your goals with these younger or older women? Like, what phase are you in right now? You trying to casually date, or you trying to find a wife?
I mean, of course, you're trying to find a wife, but with older, they got a whole lot of baggage. They got a whole lot of trauma. So you really don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? You want something that's a little bit more, that don't have them type of trauma and that baggage.
You trying to have kids?
What do you consider baggage? What do you consider baggage?
Baggage, the experience, the trauma.
Bodies, bro. Just too many bodies.
Well, you don't think these young people have more bodies than some of these old kids?
Right,
mold,
right.
Hair all over the goddamn place. A goddamn attitude that won't change. Fucking.
Hold on, Jay, y'all act like these young boys ain't got all of this shit right now. Plus some.
Dude, it's
I
just
get
30,
with
40
young
bodies.
women, man. Yes, they got bodies on them.
Yes, these young chicks.
Well, yeah,
are
yo,
fucking
the
at a rate.
shitty
Serious
ones, the ones
bodies.
on dating apps, the ones on Instagram, like the Instamods. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, they got crazy bodies, but you
I'm not on no damn
find ones that are
dating
young and they don't. The older women, for sure, bro. The older women, 30 to 35, 1,000% have 30 plus bodies. They will lie to you and say, "Oh, I only have 5, 10, whatever." No, those women are trying to manipulate and lie because they know how much they're going to be judged for it. No, but you never trust 30 to 35 women. They for sure have way higher bodies.
You're thinking these young girls ain't got these 30 plus bodies too. These young girls
Some
got
do. The shitty ones.
They do.
The shitty
do.
ones, the ones with personality disorders, the ones
Okay,
that like are
Hink,
on dating apps.
He's talking 20. He's talking 22 and 23. So I mean, like, you're gonna have some bodies on there, but he's saying in comparison to the 35-year-old.
Comparison, it's apples and oranges.
Marcus,
fellas, you guys got to remove the sexual component from it. Let's see, Hink, when you saying that these young girls got a lot of bodies, okay, cool. They say they got a lot of bodies, and the older women, they got a lot of bodies. What else? The older women got a lot more that's gonna drive a man crazy that the young women haven't gotten to yet.
Right.
And so, and that's what I'm saying. So if you notwithstanding the sexual component, there's a whole lot of other shit that you're gonna have to deal with.
I ain't got time for childish games and conversation. That's one thing I don't want to deal with. And these young girls, them heifers got as many bodies as some of these OG women y'all talking about.
Yeah,
so
I agree with
as
that.
far as the experience, okay, you might be right. A little bit different trauma. They may come with kids. It's possible. Yeah, that's possible. So if I'm willing to deal with that, I'm willing to deal with that. I'm 47.
Right.
So, I got to expect a woman going to have kids if I'm dealing with a woman, my age range. That's to be expected.
I know.
Marcus, do you want her to bring kids to the table or have no kids?
Say that again.
Do you want her to already have kids or have no kids and want to have kids?
I mean, I prefer no kids. You know what I mean? I want me a little trophy. So I feel like kids come with blemishes. You know what I mean? And that don't really look, cool or whatever.
He said come with blemishes.
So look, Marcus,
I'm still in that one.
If I'm you, I'm focusing on where I can meet quality women. So say, for instance, for me, when I got back to Chicago after college, I joined the Chicago Urban League, and they had a thing called the Metro Board.
In Chicago too, just so you know, Sean, he in Chicago.
Okay, yeah. So join the Metro Board. It's part of the Chicago Urban League. It's for young professionals. What happens is you'll meet a lot of professional women, but you get to interact on a level that's not. It's a low pressure situation because there are lots of meetings, there's lots of events, and you get to interact with women where you're not going on a date, but it's a bunch of group activities where you get to vet one another. You're not spending a bunch of money, and you get to organically see what they're about, and then you get to pick and choose from that. But these are women who have already been filtered, and they're successful. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I would say start. Instagram and all that, bro. It's about a bunch of joints I ran through. I'm not saying they won't be ran through in there, but at least you'll know they're already.
They ran through too. They over there trying to get reformed.
At least you know they'll be.
Everybody won't say it, Shan.
Let me say
everybody
that.
won't say it, but it's true.
Right.
What about the professional
Marcus,
woman?
do
What
not
did you
take
say?
his advice, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Do not take that advice, bro.
We'll go to the Urban
League.
League. We'll go to the Urban League and get a whole lot of Black China that talk about they went and got reformed and baptized.
Sean, you don't want
What about the?
successful
I
What
don't
about
do
the
the things that I
professional
used
women?
to
They say they
do
more
a
masculine.
couple years ago.
Hold on. You don't want successful
things
women,
no
bro.
more.
You do not
Yo,
want
yes, you
successful
do.
women. Those are the type of No, you don't. No, you don't at all.
What?
No,
Are
you
you
don't at all.
serious?
A woman,
Oh, you
yes,
tweaking.
because she's more focused on herself. Yes, you do
No,
not
that's
want a
not
successful
true,
woman.
bro.
Yes,
That's
no.
not
If
your
you
mind.
Dude, no, Marcus, you hit me up. I'll tell you exactly where to go get the right women. I'll tell you
Marcus,
exactly where to
go
go.
look.
I usually sell the
Purple, where they
situation.
at?
I won't
Where
even
they
tell
at?
you.
I'm from the south side of
Purple
Chicago, bro.
Phil, where they at?
I'm from
I
the
just
south side
said
of
I
Chicago,
usually sell
bro.
this
Don't
info,
listen
but
to
I'm
that
going to give
man.
it to Marcus for free. But
Sean, he in Dallas,
Sean,
bro.
if you
on
do
the
what
south
Sean
side.
said, if you go and get those type of women, I promise you, those aren't the type of women that you want to be
Hey,
with.
Marcus,
Like
do
they're
you
going to
want,
compete with you.
Marcus, do you want a loser for your child's mom?
Of course,
If
but I
so,
definitely
listen
don't
to
want a
this joke.
masculine woman either. You know.
Well, then don't mess with the masculine woman.
I want a
But
feminine,
most
nurturing woman for
I
my
don't give a damn. I don't give a damn where you go
What
at
you
to go
talking
get the
about?
woman.
You
Only
want
thing
him
you
to
gotta do is exercise your options. You
This
keep
man
it
just
moving,
said he
dog.
wants kids, bro. You want him to have a kid with a loser broad? What you talking about?
You just
I
want
don't.
somebody feminine and nurturing, and
I
I'll
don't
tell
think
you
y'all can.
exactly where to go get a feminine, nurturing woman.
So you think
don't
that
know
young
where to
girls
find
that
her.
are feminine and nurturing?
Hold
You
on,
think that
y'all.
young girls 25 and younger are feminine and nurturing?
Yes.
They more
Yo,
masculine.
this is what is so wrong.
Nowhere.
No, hold on. This is what's wrong with the manosphere today. This is what's wrong with the internet today. All these guys saying all the bitches are like this, all the girls are like this. This is ridiculous, bro. That's a lie. That is not true. That is very few women that are actually fucking hoes, and everybody uses the internet and dating apps and all these stupid fucking ways to find bitches, and they're like, oh, there must all be hoes because I'm using these hoe avenues to find these girls. No, if you find them in the real world in the right places, fresh out of their first or second relationship, they're not hoes, but you look in the wrong places. I'm so tired of hearing this shit because it's not true. It is not fucking true.
Hey,
Touch
Marcus.
grass. Everybody needs to touch grass.
Dig this, Marcus. I'm vetted. I'm certified, bro. I'm from the South Side.
Purple Pill ain't playing with y'all.
I'm going to tell you, if you want women that are not losers, like he suggested, right? You have to meet them in places where loser chicks don't be. I'm talking things like Soho House and things like that in Chicago. Private members only clubs. As a matter of fact, I'll connect you with my younger frat brother, my mentee Mark, who's a very successful guy. He's 32, and he can literally walk you to where all the successful great women are.
But wouldn't you consider
Right
them
there in
women
the
to be like masculine though? Like far as like them like dominant women, right?
Hold on, Purple Podcast just sit there and told you don't be following all that shit on the internet, but now you doing that because what he just said. They're not all masculine just because they successful or professional.
They're not, bro. You got to be
Just cycle
confident,
through
bro.
the bullshit,
Look,
man.
dig this, and I
through
ain't trying to be disrespectful to women, bro. I don't care if she makes 400,000. If she my bitch, she my bitch. I don't care how much she makes.
Facts.
So that's on you.
She gonna gravitate to She gonna gravitate to
Pardon
you.
my language for the women in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, if it's too overbearing, then you move on. But I mean, typically, like when a woman comes to your space, she gonna gravitate to whatever it is that you allow. You know, if you come in and you already set the boundaries up top without having to say nothing, or even if you did set a boundary on the front end, if she a bad and she listened, then that just shows what type of woman she is. But if you get to dating her and she don't have no respect for you on the front end, and throughout the first like couple weeks, just don't respect shit you got going on, you know what time it is, and you can just move on to leave. But it all starts with you. It all starts with whatever type of man you are, type of energy you putting out, type of aura. And just think about the people that surround you, the men that surround you. Like, do they respect you? Anytime you come around a woman, do that woman respect you? And if she does, then she gonna come up under your program, whatever it may be. Hopefully you got a good program for her. Then she'll stay. Because if you don't got a good program, guess what? She's gonna bounce and find somebody else, especially depending on where she is in her life.
Facts.
But you also gotta be moving like that's what you want. You say you want to get married, you gotta be moving like it's such. I mean, why would I want an unsuccessful ass woman?
Exactly.
I want a woman to bring some benefits to the relationship. And if you ain't bringing no goddamn benefits, you can leave your ass at a goddamn restaurant, man. I don't want to have nothing to do with your ass.
Mm-hmm.
So Hink, you want 50-50?
Smart. Nah, I'm about one pot.
Hink want her to come in here and pay the mortgage. I heard that, Hink.
No, we gonna pay the mortgage, man.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's all one pot. I don't care how many accounts.
However you call it, it's one pot, baby. That's how I roll.
These internet talking points be wild, bro. It's all one pot.
Now I guess I got me an OG woman. She's on my program. I found her where I found her. I ain't no problem with it.
Man,
relationships aren't equal, bro. Relationships aren't equal. Like, I think it's funny when people try to do these equal relationships. The relationships are never equal, and when you get into one of those, let me know how it works out. Like, let me know how it works out. Now, back in the day, yes, I totally think these were possible. Like, I saw it within my own family. But today, dude, with the hypergamy and stuff, oh no, man. And I want a girl that I can pair bond with. So I want a younger girl because the less body she has, the more she can pair bond with me. And then you just want nurturing. You just want somebody who's going to be a good mother to your kids. I don't care about her ability to make money. I want her to raise my kids and be at home and give them love and teach them. Like, I don't want a woman who's out here working all the time. I'm not going to pay for it. I don't want daycare. I don't want all this other stuff, raising my kids' iPads and shit. I want a mother that's nurturing.
Yeah, but you just gotta make sure that you're that guy. Because if you ain't that guy, that all that doesn't even matter, man.
Right.
Yeah, and you're totally right. Yeah.
And no, you talking about her raising kids. What if she's dumb as rocks? Because her ass ain't got nothing past a high school diploma.
Why y'all go to
I'll give you an example.
Here, make this y'all point across.
I'll give you an example. Hink, I met my girl through my process. She was 20 years old and already had her bachelor's degree, and now she's 23 and she's about to be done as a nurse. Okay, so and guess what? She doesn't even have to use any of that degree or that money. She's getting it as a backup. So then if we ever do break up one day or something like that, she can literally go be a nurse. She's not a dumbass. She's a very intelligent girl, and she kills it in school. She's way more book smart than I am, actually.
Look, you're talking about the average girl. When you talk about finding these girls, just
I'm saying you can find these girls. You can find. I've had tons of these type of girls. When I
heard you sit there and say, get a woman's not successful because she's gonna be all in a masculine. That's some bullshit. If she's masculine, don't deal with a manly ass.
Hey, Hink, real quick.
Hey, well, that's what you gotta do.
Hink, what part of the country are you in?
I'm in Kentucky.
Okay. That was it. I was just curious. I knew everybody else was from. I didn't know what part of the country.
Marcus.
Okay.
Don't let that man flam you, bro. He don't know nothing about Chicago, nothing about the women in Chicago, bro. Don't let him flam you.
I think Marcus knows what he wants. He
knows what he wants. He does.
He already knows what he
wants. Ben peeped that.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. Get them cheeks, young blood.
Shout out to Marcus.
I just got to move on, y'all, to this. The sex affect men emotionally.
Sex in another room right now, come back here, and it would not affect us in the slightest. Whereas for women, to have sex with some stranger is a much bigger thing for them. Except if a woman has already been with 100 guys. And then in that case, it isn't that big of a thing. That's the thing. What I'm saying is their psychology, I think, changes over a number of men that they have sex with, whereas ours generally does not.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, I feel like partner selection and everything is going to play more into that than just the idea of having sex with a lot of people. And like your background and where you're coming from. Like the example that I would give here, I don't know if you're familiar with this or not. We always traditionally hear this idea of like men ideally would want to juggle like multiple friends with benefits. That would be like the perfect case scenario for men. Every single female friend I have, I'm anecdotal, but we're all in theory land here. Every single female friend I've had has had at least one issue with a guy that they were in a friends with benefits arrangement with, where the guy got like hardcore feelings and she had to discontinue it because the guy wanted.
I totally agree. Yeah.
So
I don't think that's the most guys because
it might not be most guys, but I feel like almost everyone I've talked. I think everyone I've talked to that practices like just like casual sex has had at least one guy that's been like, I love you and I want to be with you forever, and he's like, he's done after that. He can't maintain it.
I got to say for you, this is Rolf Dengen here. Women are substantially more prone to sexual disgust than men.
Sexual, what does that mean?
Disgust,
revulsion, disgust, like as in like would want to get away from it. So what I'm saying
I would be really careful with that because I think you guys claim the opposite, that men are the ones with sexual revulsion when you talk about things like body count.
No. But what I'm saying is that it goes back to the idea that it is more damaging for like women to engage in casual sex than it is for guys. because guys can separate themselves from that emotional investment. If women were more, if they have a higher propensity for sexual revulsion or sexual disgust, I should say, what at least anyways the conclusion I'm coming to in this instance, and I'm not saying they are, but it's that the emotional investment, and we already said that, you know, women have a higher reproductive cost in you know, having big head babies and all that good stuff, that would exist as a result of the fact that when they are pair bonding or when they.
All right, the sex affect men emotionally. Go start with Luisa. What are your thoughts about it, sir?
Maybe not up front. I mean, I mean, we must be talking about somebody who has indiscriminately have had sex with hundreds and hundreds of women. I think maybe that person might be a little bit out of touch, but I don't see it so much for men who we were talking about earlier about, you know, who had like 5, 8, 10, you know, women, right? I don't see that in the short sort of sight that those men have a hard time, you know, emotionally attaching to a woman. I think that's not, I don't think that might be true. I think that might be true with men who have had indiscriminate sex for a long, long time and have not learned how to kind of bond or connect with someone, you know, beyond just the sex and the physical sort of attribute of connecting with someone. Yeah, that's my point.
All right. Be mad. What are your thoughts about it? The sex affect men emotionally.
It depends. It depends on the factors. It depends on which man. And it depends on which woman that he's having sex with. Depends on how long he's been engaged with this person. Depends on how much he likes this person. It depends on if he sees, you know, a future with this person or not. It depends if he used a condom or not. It depends on quite a few different things. It depends on if he's been with, you know, a lot of women or he's been with only a few. I think all that, you know, makes a big difference in how emotional or non-emotional this man can get. It really just depends. There's plenty of times when you know, guys just, you know, hit it and quit it. It's one night stand, whatever, you keep it moving. You don't even think twice. You know, if she got hit by a car the next day and you didn't know it, it wouldn't affect you the same way. You know. But then there's other situations where you hit something that kind of rocks your world a little bit. You like, oh snap! It kind of shook your soul a little bit. You like, I don't know who or what she is. He like, but I'm calling her back tomorrow and the next day, and I gotta get up in that. I need to go ahead and get my pillows and my sheets and just lay up in it. You know, it really depends. You got some guys who don't have as much experience, and the first one they get, they in it. They all in love, shooting up the club, all that kind of stuff. So it really truly just depends. You know, there's a lot of deciding factors in that. You know, I can have sex and not be emotional, but then there's other times where I can be. So if I care enough about you, if we have some type of common, you know, understanding and love, or we're building towards something, there's other attributes that I value highly. Yeah, I could get emotional. It's possible, you know, but she gonna get emotional before I do, though.
Well, sex. I'm curious to know if sex was you know, affecting men emotionally. You know, the R&B brothers of the '90s. You know, the Keith Sweats in them.
That was all bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably a phase. But be mad. You said without a condom.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and talk about that raw dog. You said the sex affect men emotionally. You said that if a man chooses to have sex without a condom, that raw dog.
Yeah. Yeah, I say it depends. It depends if they have a rubber on or not. You know, if they got one on, they might not be as emotional. But if they hitting it naked head, you know, straight raw dogging it, they might feel a little something more than they felt before. You know, than when they had that going naked head gonna change a few things now. It's gonna change a few things. You might feel a little different about that person. You might get a little more connected. I mean, again, we was talking about the spiritual stuff before and the soul ties and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that shit is real. That shit is real. So you know, fellas, protect yourselves. Be vigilant out here. Okay.
Isn't it crazy that a lot of questions get asked after that? Never get asked before then, but after that, there's all type of questions get asked.
You talking about after you hit it raw, you mean? Then people want to ask questions, is that what you're saying?
I didn't say me, I said after they hit it raw. No, say me after they.
No, I'm not talking about you in particular. I meant like after they hit it. Yeah. After they after they hit it raw, then they start asking questions. You mean like the young lady start asking questions? Or he starts asking questions?
Shit, I think it's a lot of questions get asked after that.
Yeah, for sure.
Now it's
for
like,
sure. Yeah, now everybody want to worry about their sexual health. All of a sudden, people want to get an idea of like, I mean, do you do this all the time? You know, is this part of your character? You know, people want to start judging and shit. Well, you didn't put a condom on, so I figure you this is how you roll all the time. No, baby, you the special one. I don't never do this, but with you, you know, or some dudes, you know, it's like they're getting ready to have it, they're getting ready to get into it. And if she don't ask if you got a rubber, he's judging off top. Well, she didn't ask if I had a rubber. That means she don't care about her damn life. She don't care about her sexual health, and I'm judging because now I think she's a hoe. You know, so it could be a lot of different things going on there. And you're right, a lot of questions do start getting asked after the fact instead of before the fact. And I think that should happen more often, that people should be asking those questions ahead of time. Hopefully you're getting to know somebody a little bit before you jumping in raw dogging like that. But you know, this is 2023 and everybody don't do that. But I hope y'all are.
As Sean would say, now we having a real conversation now.
Exactly. That's what I like to hear. Boy, you were speaking the Lord's gospel, bro. It all depends, man. We you know, I think in a lot of these conversations, man, we like it to be A or Z. Sometimes it's L. Sometimes it's just somewhere in the, sometimes it just fucking depends, bro. If I'm going into a situation, I don't even know shorty like that. I'm just smashing. I don't care if it's raw or not, bro. I don't even know her name. I'm never gonna see her again.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing involved. It may feel great. I'm never gonna see her again. My emotions ain't involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
It just is what it is. And you know, if you're a person who has a certain type of volume, I will say, if you to your point, B Madden, the more and more you do it, you do kind of start to feel connected. Now you can still disregard that because you can feel connected to a lot of women at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So you can disregard that. So in that respect, I will say it does affect you, but you can compartmentalize it because you may feel connected to a lot of women at the same time. So you may be affected by more than one partner at the same time, which sounds ratchet, but it kind of is what it is.
It is what it is.
And just to add on to it, I don't think a lot of men like to lose, and then including their women. So I just think that a lot of men like to take ownership. Sometimes when they mess around with these women, they think, I know it's easy said and done, she for everybody, right? They'll say that, but in reality, in their mind, they're not thinking that. They'd be butthurt if they found out like they man's hit. I mean, how many times you guys been to college? How many times it's been that one guy mad, like, man, like, I was fucking with her. Like, man, she for everybody. What you mean? When you brought her over there, when she came back to the frat house, you knew what time it was.
Yeah, there's some boys I was butthurt.
People hitting it raw more often than not.
She did that one special thing. She did that one special thing with her tongue, and he thought he was special. He thought he was different. But it's like, man, that's a signature move, bro. You didn't know?
Exactly. That's it. I mean, look, man. Most of the time, dudes is hitting it raw. From what I'm understanding. I mean, maybe it's
You've been talking about this raw shit for about past 5 minutes now, Sean.
Maybe it's on the third or fourth time. Maybe it's on the fifth time. But bro, You taking that rubber off at some point. You know what I'm saying? Just the same way you did with the last chick and the last chick.
So you're just gonna put the tip in.
You know what I'm saying?
You say he's gonna put the tip ins out. You say put the tip in.
And look, Marcus trying to keep a straight face.
Hey, look here, man. I think it's affected by, like, say you a young cat, first time hitting it naked head, like my man said. You know, I mean, look here. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be vulnerable. The first time the heifer squirted in my face, shit, I'm like, God damn. I love that. I said, I gotta keep coming back. I gotta keep coming back. That was an experience.
Dude, yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, it happens. I was a young cat and she did that, man. I'm like, God damn. Yeah, I want that again. Yeah, I'm gonna hang around.
Bro, you got pissed on
So
in your face.
You got to feel that, huh? You had to feel that again, huh?
Light skin pee. I call it light skin
feel
pee.
different. It feels different.
It's a mixture of pee. There's usually a little piss in there.
It's just a little bit. It's just a twinge.
It's glorious.
My man's an R. Kelly fan over here.
Hey, what it is?
He was rubbing it in his face, and that's how he got that beard later on.
Man, I'm telling you, I ain't got no problem.
That beard oil right there.
He got that beard oil. He was rubbing it in early as a young cat. He was like, "Oh, spreading that in."
Hey,
I cut mine down.
That growth. They gave him that growth.
That's for that conditioning. They gave you that good condition, baby. You got it in my nose, but that's okay. I got plenty of tissue.
Oh man!
So I was gonna say for this one, I feel like I get more emotionally attached the more the like fantasies going on. Like the more I have the fantasy of like the woman being perfect. Like if she ruins the fantasy, if you find out that she's a hoe, if you find out, you know, like as long as she doesn't have a bunch of hoe pictures up on her Instagram and like, but then you find out she has the OnlyFans or something, you know, like it's all about the fantasy. For me, like I'll become more emotionally attached to her the more I feel like she's really down for me, the more I picture her as this perfect like wife and mother and stuff. Like as long as I see all that, I'll become pretty emotionally attached to her. But like just a hoe that's just like coming around, or she's just fucking you, or just like sucking your dick or something like that, like, and like you can tell she's just a hoe, or like she talks to you about how she does this a lot or something like that, it's like the whole fantasy is ruined. I have no emotional attachment to you. You're just a harlot. Like it's nothing special now.
All right, so
like, it's all about the fantasy.
Let me ask you this, okay? Because sometimes you can find out she may have whole tendencies in the bedroom. So what if you smashing and she'd be like, "Fuck me, fuck me"? Would that change anything, or would you think she's just regular? It's pure.
It depends if she's hypersexual or not. Like if she's doing that and it seems like it's not that like common for her. And like, but if she's
hypersexual, common when somebody's saying "fuck me,"
that's your first time knocking it down.
It's probably common then. If it's probably common for her then, and I would say she's probably hypersexual, and it would be a red flag for me. Like I don't know if I'd want to be with a girl that's hypersexual because I feel like she's probably had a lot of sex, a lot of bodies, and like a lot of girls with personality disorders are like this.
Purple, come on, man! You just talk
about Purple. I can't. Hold on.
Sometimes it don't have to be that amount of bodies. It could be one person. She just probably had a lot of sex with that, or one or two people. It could have been somebody that was experienced that may have put her on, broke her in, and she learned a few things. You can't really determine. That's why you can't date a woman and thinking that you're gonna actually know her body count.
You got to ask a lot of questions.
She could be a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets.
Well, it's all about like it's all about playing like the friend thing and like for the first week or two and like trying to be cool with them, because when you do that, they'll reveal everything. And once they like the girls who really guard themselves, they know better. Like they're super smart about hiding things. But like some girls are really dumb. They're so down for you. They just want to be honest. Like you be honest to them. And then they're like, "Oh, I'm going to be honest back." You're like, "Oh yeah, I had this hoe experience where I did this, blah, blah." And she's like, "Oh, now I get to share my hoe experience from the past." It's like, "Oh, you idiot."
Like that.
About these young girls.
The young ones are stupid. You gotta get them to say it.
Think about the woman that had the strict parents, right? And she been maintaining this lifestyle her whole entire life, where she's been restricted, a virgin, and so she has practice in doing this. when she becomes an adult, or she's able to make her own decisions without any interference with her parents, sometimes that woman may go wild. So then when you meet her, she's already accustomed to playing that role that she's been doing her whole entire life. And those bodies might have came within a time frame of 5 months. She might have had grabbed like 12, 15 bodies. So you can't really lean on she's going to come out within the first couple of weeks, because she's been practicing majority of her life being restricted. And now she's embarrassed about it. So the last thing she'll want somebody to know is that, oh, I wasn't raised like this. I don't want him to know that was a part of it. So she can mask it pretty well by just because she's been doing it for the majority of her life. So you can't really, I just think it's just men shouldn't really ask the woman about her body count or determine. I mean, if you see some signs, that's just something you might want to know to yourself. But realistically, if you too far ahead, you probably ain't going nowhere. I mean, especially if you already proposed to her, something like that, or you married, or you got kids with her. You just hope you come across nobody that be like, damn, that's your wife.
JR, I got a question. JR, are we going to sit and pretend like, are we going to sit and pretend like, you know, we want the most innocent Virgin Mary woman out here? Are we gonna sit and pretend that's completely innocent, don't know nothing, ain't never been with nothing, done nothing, ain't got a little freaky bone in her body yet? We just have to break her in all the way in order for it to be that way? Or are we going to admit to ourselves that we do like a woman that does have a little bit of experience now, that got a few bodies? It ain't gotta be the whole world, but I mean, you're not really gonna know because they always gonna lie, and that's just what it is. But are we okay with just being with a woman that's just loyal to you? I mean, yeah, she got a past. Yeah, she done lived her life a little bit. She likes sex just like you like sex. You know what I'm saying? But she's a woman in the streets and the freak in the sheets. Like, she's real with she's buttoned up. She handles her business, but she gonna be your freak when you get home.
But that's where the pair bonding
be realistic. Can we just be realistic? Huh?
It sounds good in the beginning. See, I'm sure Purple Pill would agree that that's where the pair bonding doesn't happen. It sounds good in the early stages of the relationship, but long term, all of that freak in the sheet part starts to come out and goes against everything that you're trying to build with her more often than not.
Yeah,
so, you know,
like,
if she's sometimes
now,
if she's with you,
freak now. But while she's your freak now, she's thinking about the 40 other niggas that smashed her before.
Yeah.
So it's
it depends, but I think that depends on how alpha you really are and how much she really fucks with you.
I know we all think that we fucking Superman. I know we all think we got.
I mean, you know, I guess you're right. It's just not your turn. It's your turn right now.
But
but sometimes
go for it, Purple. I'm sorry.
So like B-Man, like what you're talking about is called the Madonna whore complex. And this is like a problem for a lot of guys. And like the thing is, what y'all are talking about, y'all are just describing that y'all like this is gonna be an eye-opener for some of y'all. The girls that y'all are describing are just hypersexual. Like, y'all shouldn't be taking those girls seriously. I'm sorry, that might sound messed up, but you shouldn't take girls that are hypersexual seriously. I promise you it's because of some trauma. It's because of something that's happened in their past or something like that. We need to start recognizing when women are acting that way, it's because something is wrong. It's because something has happened in their past.
Well,
I don't think that. So like, I wouldn't be in a relationship with a girl like that personally. I want to be with a girl who reserves herself, even if the sex is bad, as y'all would think, or something like that, or whatever. It's vanilla or something, or maybe she doesn't suck my dick enough often. It's still good enough for me. Like I don't want.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't know if she's hypersexual or not in the beginning. And sometimes you can't really tell that.
You don't.
And
you got to give it a longer to figure that out.
You're like, I'm gonna.
If she's a freak from the start, I'm talking about from the first time y'all have sex. If she's a freak, that's a hypersexual girl. Like if she's from the start with you.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this, right? You know, I know some women where their husbands has broke their virginity, and they have stepped out with workmen. I know two of them. You know, at my previous job, there were two women. One of them had like 7 kids with this guy. He was dealing with somebody at the job. One of them, her husband broke her virginity, and she was dealing with somebody at the job. And they both had conversations. It was pretty obvious, and you just hear about it. Even the guys have mentioned it before already. So sometimes the men who have broken these virginities or they have low body counts, these women become curious. So like I think you all
I agree with that.
right.
Yeah.
So I think that as a man, that's why you want to make sure that you keep yourself up to par at all times, because even when you think your woman may not be looking or may not have these ideas in her head, it's still a possibility. I think it's just human nature. Same thing for men and women.
I'm not saying you shouldn't try to please your girl. Like you should try to do all types of stuff to not have vanilla sex. Like,
well, you were saying the woman that doesn't have any that is this freak or something like that. Sometimes the women that have had the least experience, they want to become more freakier. They want to
and their man is to blame though. Their man sucks if he's not doing that. This is a big topic in the Christian community because there's tons of divorces that happen because the guys suck. They don't know how to get their woman to that level.
But I mean, but sometimes the men don't think they suck. You know, sometimes you on the outside looking in, like you could be in your right, but you could be in your relationship right now, and you may not be it's called self-awareness. You may not be aware that you're not putting it down. You may think that she do that same sound she doing, and she been faking the whole entire time. Women do it, so sometimes you gotta do some things in order to do some tests for yourself.
But JR, you know us men, we go by probabilities. I hear what you're saying. There's exceptions to every rule. There's gonna be you might get a virgin who might turn around and turn into a hoe after she had 7 of your children. But what are the odds? That's typically what we kind of do. We, as they say, we're cost benefit calculators. We're calculating odds here. You got a woman who's 24 years old and she's fucked 30 dudes, and you got a woman who's 24 years old and she's fucked one. What are the odds of both of them turning into hoes after marriage? And that's really what the argument is. The argument is today, can people who's been, and this happens for men too, who's had so much sex and been with so many. That's why I was like on that. Have sex with 50 women. That's what Myron was saying. Have sex with 35 women. I'm like, nah, dog, that'll mess up men too. What are the odds of a woman that's been with that many men being able to pair bond as compared to what you're in your point to a woman who's never been with anybody else and has just been with her husband? The chances are those are the relationships that we don't hear about. They're not on YouTube. They're not in this space. They don't even know nothing about the goddamn. They don't know nothing about your podcast. They live in their life, taking their kids to school, and they live in life, and everything is happy with them. Those are some of the people that's in our families that don't know what the fuck we talk about night in and night out. And that's what it is. So probabilities of that woman I get it. There was 2 at your job. I understand what you mean. I think I know one that was like that too. But the chances of that happening, if you had to gamble, where do you put your money on?
I put my money.
Vegas, if this was a Vegas bet, where do you put your chip down?
I put my money on them, but the only reason why I bring this up is because I think men become complacent. And I'm not talking about the women, it's just King talk. So I think a lot of men get too comfortable and they stop.
And they just say, fuck it, that's me.
Right.
I got her first, so I ain't got to do nothing.
They got it. They do the same things over and over again. I think as men, we come together, we got to have these discussions and say, hey, sometimes we got to switch it up. Sometimes we got to keep it spicy. Sometimes we got to go outside the norm. Sometimes we got to get a little bit uncomfortable. I'm not talking about, there's some certain things I just won't do. I just won't do. And I've said that on the podcast before. I don't care what type of freaks y'all out on this panel. Anything ain't going my way.
Bro, this the problem that I have with some of what y'all saying. Body count is based on self-reporting. So the woman with 31 and the woman with 1, you don't fucking know unless she wants you to know. So all that shit, there's no way to fucking tell. I don't care what you say. She could have had 1 and she could have fucked him for 15 years and be a super freak. I don't care what you niggas say on this panel, bro. You don't know. It's based on self-reporting. There's no magical way of knowing, nigga. I don't care what big words you use, nigga, you don't know.
Bro, I just had a girl on my show.
And the woman could have had her whole phase 20 years ago when she was a freshman in college or in college in general, which was 15, 20 years ago. And she may be a good girl since then. So all these hard lines in the sand is just super goofy to me. It don't make sense.
But there are a lot of lines.
Chances are most of us will marry somebody who had a whole phase. That's what the fuck it is.
So you don't have to do that.
That is a probability. That's a probability.
Like, It's like it's a high probability, but you don't have to choose that. And the thing is, a lot of girls are showing the real numbers, bro. There was literally a TikTok page where girls put their list.
Yeah,
I
they
just
turn it-
had a girl on my show
You're telling
a
the
few
truth
days
now.
ago.
The young ones are.
I just had a girl on my show a few days ago. She showed me her list in her phone of every guy. It was like 50 something, bro. Like she showed me her fucking list. She showed it to me. She wasn't worried about showing it. No. I'm saying, and I'm going to tell you from anecdotal of I've been with a lot of girls, okay, and a lot of girls I play friends with them afterwards. I act like I'm their best friend. I like we like exchange fucking like sex stories and shit like that. And usually when you get really comfortable with a sex buddy, they will fucking tell you everything, okay? Like you can definitely learn the truth about some of these things.
No, that's real. That's true.
No.
That's true.
So what you guys are arguing again?
And that becomes the rule.
No, well, it's not so much a rule. Which again, you got to talk about the ideologies. Well, you got to talk about cultural differences between young women who are not shamed by sex versus older women who were brought up that way. So, Sean, what you're saying is absolutely true. You won't know the truth, but you typically won't know the truth of women that's 30 plus and older. The younger women is quick to tell you the truth. They'll tell you. They'll be like, "Yo,
yeah,
I'm at 26 right now." You know, the younger ones do. They're quicker to say what their body counts were, and it could even freak you out because their numbers are higher than the 40-year-old chick. But the 40-year-old chick don't want to say that she's been with 15 because she just thinks that that's gonna make you run away or whatever. So shame, that's what we talk about, bringing shame back. The younger women aren't shamed by body count the way the older women are. I graduated college in 2000, the year 2000. Those women ain't gonna, they don't want it, they're not gonna tell the truth. It's a waste of time even asking. I can tell you what it is. I watched them for the last 25 years, but they're not gonna say nothing. Whereas the younger girls today that Purple Pill is talking to and dealing with, those women is just like, well, it is what it is. I've been, you know, they've had an iPhone their entire life. So they've been writing, they got all their text messages from 10 years ago, and they're going to just tell the truth. So it's a difference between between age difference, the mindset of the younger women versus the mindset of the older women.
But it's the type of women we want to turn my man Marcus on to, though.
But Marcus is an old guy.
The one that tells the truth.
Why you want to turn a man on to that woman that got all them bodies at that young tender age of 26?
Well, because
look at her. Got a lot of knowledge on their heart.
You said what?
Do y'all not know how to
because he's
discern?
either way.
That's crazy.
You know why I want him to date the younger? Because he's fucked either way. And if he's gonna be fucked either way, I want him to be with the young one that's gonna tell him the truth versus the older one that's gonna tell him a lie.
Facts.
Hey,
No lies told right there.
If I was you as a young man, I would find a woman who's gonna be sexually compatible with me. That's what I would do if I was you.
Listen, the question that JR asked are men. I'm a little different than everybody on the panel. He took the question away, but he was asking are men, does sex affect men emotionally?
I got it right there. Yeah, the sex.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
No, and in the manner in which we define and identify emotional today, my answer is no. I don't think so, because if you look at the prostitution industry, the oldest profession in the world, then that would support that. And I think what you guys were saying, that a lot of men are taking into consideration what you think. Listen, I think we're mixing up, or you guys were mixing up psychological with emotional. You know, psychological has to do with your mind, whereas emotion has to do with feelings. So if she squirted all in your face, that ain't so much about your feelings. That's about what the fuck you just experienced. That's what your mind is dealing with, you know, and that's why that beard got so thick, Hank.
Well, yeah.
So, we men, we get emotional when we get emotional. You know, our feelings get involved. This is what I'm talking about, right? Because that's the question. We get emotionally triggered so when we expend things that we consider valuable. And men typically consider money and our time and our knowledge valuable, not necessarily sex. And so whenever we spend money on a chick and we feel like we got fucking fucked over, we get emotional. We giving up game and we trying to help somebody, and then they turn around and give all praise to another motherfucker. We feel emotional. Think about even in that movie, Dead Presidents, where Cuddy pulled up and he got out of the army. I don't know if you guys seen the movie Dead Presidents with
I know what part you're talking about. Yeah.
And Cuddy pulled up and he was like, yeah, she fucked you, she sucked you. Where she learned all of that from? We get emotional when we feel that our energy is wasted. But just the act of sex, intercourse itself, I don't think men are emotional in the manner in which women are. And if we are emotional, we certainly don't show it the way women do. So I just wanted to land that answer out there and let you guys know how I felt about it.
I think you made a good point when you said
it was good.
The act of sex versus everything else that surrounds it. Sean, you holding your head. Do you not agree with what the men are saying?
I mean, I'm just saying, I still got the same point, bro. All we know is what they tell us. And at the end of the day, Marcus must be confused right now. Bro, find you a girl that you like, that's willing to, that meets your standards, that's going to fuck you the way you want to be fucked, that you think is going to be a good mom, and that you look forward to coming home to. Because you ain't going to know her body count. You just won't. There's no way of knowing. I don't care what they say. Don't let these niggas mislead you.
What you guys think about that? I mean, I guess you got to pick a side, right? When it comes to thought, because we sit on this panel and we watch other panels and things on YouTube and listen to our grandparents and cousins, all this stuff. It's all information. So I think you should just kind of take that information and figure out what it is that you want to do with it, man, right? So I know Marcus probably got a phone call, but if I had to pick a side, I would probably lean more towards what Sean Antonio said. I would consider what Shan's saying, the cultural differences, right? The younger women might, in fact, do reveal their body count more than the older women.
Yeah, it's not hard to find that out. It's not as hard as people make it seem. But go ahead, JR.
But who's going to do all that research? I mean, nobody about to do all that shit, right? I mean, if the young women want to volunteer and say it, that's fine. But you still not gonna really know. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about as far as finding out. I mean, if she got 50 bodies, you gonna go find all 50 men?
Well, no, you don't got to go investigate all the guys. But see, that's the thing about it. So when we talk about marriage minded, I believe that men should investigate the women that they're going to invest the rest of their life and all their resources and get old with. Like the whole thing, like
investigate how.
And fucking do a dossier on their ass. Find out everything that you fucking can about their family, about her mindset, where she grew up, who she hung out with, where she party. You should know if we're talking about marriage mindsets and we're talking about marriage is the goal, and this is gonna be my wife, and she's gonna have my children, and I'm gonna all the money I make, and when I die, everything goes to her, and she's the beneficiary of everything I've created. And we just say, oh, I'm not gonna ask you no questions. That's crazy to me.
You can do all of that, and she can be a great woman, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna be able to find out her body count.
No, but here's the thing. I'm not saying that you necessarily need to disqualify her for her body count. I'm simply saying you need to know everything that you can know about your potential woman that you're spending the rest of your life with. And to just say, I don't want to know that. To say ignorance is bliss.
I mean, women do it all the time.
Blue pilling yourself. That's literally saying, I don't want to know the real world. Give me the red pill. I know that it's going to be hard. I want to go down the rabbit hole. I do not want to stay. I do not want to wake up in happy, blissful. I don't know what the fuck she's done in the past. I just know what she does for me. Fuck that. I want to know everything about this motherfucker because I'm about to give her the keys to the safe. That's just me.
Go to the Instagram.
So the real advice that we should be giving Marcus and some of the younger folks is that don't just stop at the body count. Look at everything else, right? Like look at everything else, because to Sean Antonio's point, we'll never know the number, but you kind of have a hint. You might get a hint if she's out there and if she's not. But
right.
Question.
But you'll get an idea. You'll get a roundabout idea of the type of woman that you're dealing with.
Right.
Like you should have an idea of who you're spending your time with. Yeah. Like how she moves. How
does she watch on TV?
Like you get an idea of those things.
But it might be
you're never going to know a hardcore number.
But it might be a possibility if you go to that class reunion that 20 year. You might find out some shit though. So don't be alarmed because it's too late at that point.
This is only a
go to
problem
homecoming.
Don't go to homecoming.
Go to college homecoming. Go to
Don't do
college
it.
homecoming. You're gonna know real quick what type of woman you got.
Absolutely.
Everybody like,
But see,
hey, girl,
okay, so
she give me all
question
the
for the
hugs.
fellas.
Question,
for
hold
the
on,
fellas.
before that.
No,
does
no
attraction
homecoming.
matter?
No homecoming. You suggest no high school reunion. You suggest. My thing is this, but you're gonna go. Wouldn't you want to go?
No.
And
I
to
wanna
say
know.
that I don't want to go to homecoming because I don't want to know what the fuck you possibly did in college, but I'm gonna marry you and have children with you is crazy to me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm simply saying,
Well,
if you
I
was
always
a
rather
home,
know than
Oh,
not.
Shan, like he already got kids by already, Shan. He already got kids with already.
See, used to this wasn't an issue
But you
because we
already
would know
did.
within the community. Like we would know within the community, but everybody's dating online today. You don't know anything about a
We
person
don't
when you
know.
meet them on a dating app. Nothing. They can literally, and everybody moves everywhere today too. So it's like a girl can be a huge hoe in LA and then move to Dallas and lie about her whole new fucking future. Like y'all, like people suck at discerning. Men suck at discerning, and women suck at discerning. Both of them fucking suck.
I suck
it's both sides.
I think Marcus has a question.
Yeah, I know Marcus got a question. I know Hank was off the mic too.
So does attraction matter?
Hell yeah, physical
Of
attraction.
course it does. What you mean?
It's a huge deal for a man because he'll end up cheating if you don't have a
Yeah,
huge
of
attraction for the girl.
course.
She needs to be an adjustable 7 at
Gotta be
minimum.
visually. Hell yeah.
Yes. Women are the hallmark of beauty of every relationship, Marcus. We want beauty matters. Of course it matters. Attraction matters. Now, don't get me wrong. For some guys, and some guys who know where they stand in the sexual marketplace sexual marketplace themselves, they'll deal with what they can. You've seen some dudes that they'll tolerate some shit around tax season. So it's they'll tolerate
Not
some shit
tax season.
when the PlayStation 6 comes out. They gonna tolerate some shit.
So they gonna get them fat white women.
Smoke weed every day.
But when it comes to matrimony, I think men still, the attraction is one of the highest, if not the highest, priority on the list for a guy.
And this is why I preach younger women, because I truly believe that like a guy will always remember his girl at the age that he met her at. Like you're always like that's something that I've heard from multiple older guys who married younger women.
No matter what she becomes.
It's easier. Yes. No, because you're always going to remember her for what you met her as. Yes. That's why I really preach that stuff.
All right.
That's real.
All right.
Now, I do want to say, B. Madden, don't you come back to this show without ironing your shirt. My man, B. Madden just threw on that Nike shirt.
This Nike shirt, I've been running around, man. I was at the gym earlier. Shit, just threw something on.
No, you didn't.
I'm
You
sorry,
pulled
it's
it out
not
the
pretty
drawer.
and crisp.
I'm
sorry, it's not pretty
you
and
pulled it out the
crisp.
drawer right before we started the show.
No. I'm talking about my other joint.
I ain't talking about the other joint. I'm talking about
I just threw this. I threw this.
Yeah, I know you just threw that one on.
Yeah.
Sean know too. We fashion dudes. We know.
Right.
We know.
And you know they just throw the gold boots and take their shirt off, bro. You know what it is.
See, I'm like, no, he getting on me because I'm a damn model. That's why he getting on me because I'm a model. So hey, I know what I'm doing. Hey, no, Nike pay my bills. I don't know what you talking about. I'm official team Nike. So don't hate.
He came with a dope shirt and a dope chain, but throw some steam on it.
Hey. All right, y'all. Wow, man. Hey, Hank, go ahead and take us out, man. Final thoughts.
Oh, man. What I was going to say to Marcus, man, you just need to interrogate that woman. Find out all the information you need to find out, man. Again, go to her social media. They talking up every goddamn thing you need to know, man. This going to be known. They're going to tell you everything they need to know. I don't care how old or young they are. They all talk.
Yep, Marcus don't give a fuck about what we're talking about. Marcus is like, man, I ain't listening to y'all old ass niggas. I got my shit. I'm good.
Man, I don't blame him. Sometimes it's like it.
I ain't saying all that.
Hey, take a couple more L's. He'll start to listen.
Yeah. Mark like that old ass nigga Shannon. I ain't listen to that nigga. That nigga don't know what the fuck he talking about.
Yeah, wow, man. It's been a great show, man. Been a great episode of King Talk. If y'all just tuning in, y'all too late, catch the replay. Make sure you guys follow everybody on the individual platforms and whatever they got going on. Shannon Rawls, YouTube. Shannon Antonio, make sure y'all support Rich Bully, clothing line. Great merch. Be Madden is a superstar. Yeah, he's using commercials and a model.
Super duper star.
Look at doing that all, man. So it might be the person you want to tap into. If you're trying to get your clothing line popping. Sean, you might wanna get B Madden on board, man. I'm just saying. Hink in the Basement, YouTube, Purple Pill Pie. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and support my mans out there. Always looking for women and men in the Dallas area to come through and support Marcus. I mean, y'all stay tuned for Marcus, man. I got some stuff in store for Marcus, man. He's gonna be all right, man.
How long you know Marcus?
How long I know you, Marcus? About
Man, I want to say about like 5 years, 5 years plus.
Yeah, about 5 years. No, Marcus, the first time coming on, man.
We're gonna have to have an update on his dating life.
Well, we definitely need an update.
Marcus, you should record yourself testing different advice. You know what I'm saying? And showing what worked and what did.
Yeah, you're gonna document all of this.
Yeah,
we
had to do a show on Marcus or something. Get a cameraman to follow him around so you can see what's going on. Man, Marcus always had a unique, I don't even know what to even call it, man. It was just always unique outing with Marcus, man. It was never
expression. Whole expression.
Yeah. Yeah. Marcus has his thoughts, man, but he's gonna be all right. He's gonna be all right. Just want to say thank you guys for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Mark. Shane, what you about to say?
I was gonna ask Marcus, did he paint that painting behind him?
No,
the dog.
It just looked nice.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. I thought you was maybe an artist too. All right, cool.
Yeah. All right, just thank you guys for your perspectives tonight, man. We're going to get up out of here. It's been another bag in the books, man. Appreciate y'all. All right, y'all be out.
Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. We gon' come and see about it. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. Find out nothing sweet about it. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. We gon' come and see about it. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. Find out nothing sweet about it. Look, mile like 3-6 pulled up, ski trip, cold winter. All my eating good. I remember when we had no dinner. West side, east side, no side, both sides with me. Check, come and check, leaving flex season 12, come and get me. Gil, to run around high speed, chasing all the big bags. Bending corners, bending rules, bending necks, Gil, the whiplash. Slide through high night, warm, but a storm, gutter drain.
Staff no comments, Marcus. Staff no comments, bro.
True story, new story.
So staff no comments, man.
They all 5 of them?
Yeah, staff no comments, man. That's a YouTube rule. Staff no comments.
I'm definitely looking at them.
Huh?
I said, I'm definitely looking at them.
Why you looking at the comments, man?
I mean, I want to see them. Shit, they give me compliments and shit.
Oh man, start feeling yourself, man. Start getting that ego, man.
Oh no, man, come on, you know me, shit. What they saying, shit. They like a nigga and shit. How I do though?
Man, you did all right, man. You was kind of quiet, man. You could have talked a little bit more, man. I know it's your first time, but typically when it's somebody's first time, they usually quiet. They trying to feel their way. Next time.
I ain't wanna talk too much. I ain't wanna, like, you know what I mean? I'm definitely lit. But shit, I ain't wanna talk too much. You know what I mean? I ain't wanna, like, you muted my mic a few times.
It's because of feedback. Now you got feedback. So sometimes I put in the back of the comment just so you know we live too, so don't say nothing crazy now.
Oh, we still live right now?
Yeah, we still live. You don't see it right there, top of your screen? left side. You don't see us say live.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, though, shit, damn, you said that threw off my whole little train of thought, right?
I just let you know, man. You might start opening up, saying some crazy ass shit or something.
Yeah, for sure. But no, though, I was just I was filling it out for sure.
Yeah.
It was cool though, definitely, man. Like, definitely, I like to do it again, though. You know what I mean? Shit, definitely, I could, you know, tap in a little bit more and like, you know, speak a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you know, I ain't want to say too much.
Yeah, I had a guy that, but the younger voice is needed, man, because sometimes we don't feel like we older on this panel, but in reality, we are older. You know, I'm 56, so you know it kind of go a long way, man. You know, with you being in your early 30s and me being 56, it's definitely a gap in the difference, man. So I think the young voices are needed because it's different, and I think a lot of older folks don't really understand how different it is to be out here on the dating scene as a younger man. So that's why I think it's good to bring younger men and younger women on there to kind of balance what's going on. Because sometimes we preaching these messages and we speak it to an older generation versus the newer generation. So definitely come on when you come in, speak your truth and speak whatever it is that you seeing, because that's how we learn. The old folks got to learn too. They may not understand, may not agree, but I do think that they need to understand what's going on up in the younger generations. So next time you come on, just be a little bit more vocal. If you mute, it's because you're using that phone. And I told you that phone giving a lot of feedback. You have to start upgrading to a microphone and whole list of setups. But if it's something you're interested in, I'll make sure I be able to get you right. Something that you really want to do.
Right. All right, bet it up. We could do that.
Yeah. So yeah, stat on comments. Sometimes the comments can hurt you or help you. You start receiving a bunch of bad comments, you'll be ready to drop out. Like, oh, I ain't never doing this.
No, I ain't really worried about it. Hell no, man. Come on now, you know me. Shit, I speak my mind regardless.
Yeah.
So hell yeah. But all right, though, shit, I'm gonna hit your line though.
Yeah, hit my line, man. Appreciate you, man. And thanks for tuning in tonight, man. And joining the panel. You got to fix that raggedy ass phone you got. What's my phone you got, man? You don't hear that shit?
No, I don't hear it at all. No. You getting a lot of feedback or what?
Like it's repeating everything I'm saying, but it's like a goddamn, like it's muffled or something.
Oh, it's the echo.
Yeah. Trying to find some music to put on, man. So take the crowd out. All right, Marcus, hit my line, man. Hit my line tomorrow, man. I'm gonna go ahead and play a couple of tracks and get up out of here and lay my ass down, man. Get ready to do it all over again tomorrow. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Hit that like button. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for your support. Tato Mills, I see you say new sub. It's almost over. I missed the whole thing. Yeah. Lindora Lint. You definitely missed it. Catch the replay. I want to say shout out to all the truck drivers out there. Shout out to everybody that's just going in the third shift. Shout out to all my third shift people that's getting off. Shout out to all my second shift people that's getting off. I know how it is. Union life. All my first responders out there. Shout out to you guys. Y'all make sure y'all be safe out there. Thank you guys for everything you do. Any military personnel or vets, I want to say thank you guys for your service. Appreciate you for keeping the U.S. safe.